Dan and Jet, who are currently tied 1-1, and we are off to the races.
Yep, so here we go. We are starting in 2 different locations. Link's house has the power glove. Ooh, that's already going to open up Skullwood's access, I believe, if I'm not mistaken here.
It's pretty good.
So saltyphry starting in the top area where Dark Sanctuary is, and you can actually get a health refill from the character up there, which doesn't matter now because they only have 3 hearts, but it costs 20 rupees to do that. I saw a blue pennant down in Swamp Palace, but I didn't look quickly enough to see what everything else was.
I think I'm about to see that again on the right side of my screen here, and I'm seeing a red pendant in the Palace of Darkness.
I thought I saw red somewhere, just didn't catch where it was. So Palace of Darkness is a 5/6, very interesting.
And there we have a 5 rupee on Bumper Ledge. So we will not have to deal with the difficult bit of logic that one is. And saltyphry looks to have taken a death warp.
Yeah, I wanted to point out what saltyphry is doing. He's dropping the Skullwoods very quickly, and actually, I guess you don't need the glove to get up there. You can still get up there without it through a different entrance. So he is going to Skullwoods. He's picking up a couple bombs, some magic, and then he's taking immediate death. He's doing this repeatedly because every time you restart in the dungeon, the items get reset. The lane is doing this now as well. Both runners are farming their bombs and magic right here while there's nothing on the line, while they're not doing anything, and they're going to make sure they're equipped so that they can do any of the bomb checks they want. They're the flippers in the same room, by the way.
Interesting. Early water toes here. Look, opens up actually quite a bit more of the world, being that this is inverted. And we can now cross into the eastern side of the Dark World.
And that means Palace of Darkness and Catfish and all those places are now opened up as well. The pyramid is available to check. So we are starting to very quickly broaden out the map that we can use here.
It definitely feels both good and bad, because it at least points away from having to dive through those dungeons potentially, but until we have any kind of weapon, we're not going to be clearing anything anytime soon.
Yeah, we still need a weapon before we're even comfortable doing any kind of dungeon diving anyway. So right now, I don't think they're going to mind having the overworld checks to do. I would say this is probably a good option for them to have that. Now, because they've farmed the bombs as well, they can go do Hype Cave, which I think saltyphry is going to do right now. So get your hype in chat, ladies and gentlemen, for a 2.5-minute Hype Cave. saltyphry plants the bomb, and we're going to get to see what kind of hype this cave has. We should find a weapon in here, most likely. Being so close to the start, this is a good place to find weapons.
All right, so there's
some bombs. We have 300 rupees. We have more blueberries. We have a piece of heart, and we have silver arrows. Bungie, rate that Hype Cave.
Silver out of 10.
Yeah, pretty much. We can't even use them yet, so I would actually give it maybe about a 2.
It's just good to know that there will not be a Master Sword plus Silverless Ganon, but it will be a Master Sword Ganon. That's the highest sword that we can obtain, though all 4 are still in the pool.
Yeah, all 4 swords are still in the pool, but they will only pick up 2 of those swords, as you might have said, and I didn't catch if you said that. The other 2 swords will poof into red rupees. I can't get my colors straightened out. They'll turn into big 20s, and you won't even know they're swords unless the other runner happens to pick them up as a sword.
All right, and saltyphry unfortunately getting bullied on his way over to the. Looks like he's heading over to the pyramid and Catfish, as thalane is making his way more through the village of Outcasts, hoping to find something that'll give us some kind of offense. And that blue boomerang is definitely not going to be the answer.
Yeah, that's not the answer at all. No stunning, as I mentioned, from the boomerang, even in hard mode for the boomerang. At least the hookshot was still stun in hard mode, but neither will stun an expert.
However, the hookshot will still one-shot the enemies that it is hard-coded to one-shot. So it does have potential as a good weapon, and saltyphry has to deal with that rather bully-some there.
He's being very careful to get around that. And he finds was that the hookshot?
Yes.
That was the hookshot. We have the hookshot on the pyramid, ladies and gentlemen. What are we going to find in Thieves Town, meanwhile? We're finding $5.
Well, we have gained a small bit of offense. Still can't kill every enemy, but some of them we can now take care of.
Now we're going to get a Catfish check, which makes perfect sense in inverted mode. Get it. This is something you don't have to pay $500 for, unlike King Zora. So get it out of the way and get it done.
It does open up some access onto Death Mountain as well once we get our way into the Light World.
There is a big key for Thieves Town, the second chest, or third chest, sorry. And moving over to the side, another 5 rupees. So Thieves Town not really panning out so far.
Only diving the first 4 as he doesn't have a weapon to go much further, so he's going to have to keep digging.
And Salty is trying to deke out the octopus again, the Octoroks.
Gotta make our way by here. Thalane's gonna go ahead and find out that it's silvers out of 10 out of his hype cave. And hopefully the angry fish is holding on to something useful.
I think he has to at this point, doesn't he? Not really much else we can do here.
Well, we do have access to some of the items in pod, depending on what that first chest is.
Nah, watch this be a sword.
Or the hammer.
Or a hammer. Or a hammer.
Oh, that is huge! And that is our strongest weapon in the game currently, because we will never see a tempered sword. So that definitely feels good. Feels good for a find for saltyphry early on. So I'd imagine with the limited item checks that are available, I can't imagine Thalane will have to make his way over there sooner rather than later. Thalane is going to go ahead and check over Stumpy and the dig game that we have not yet seen.
And in regular mode, that would actually be a very evil location for Hammer, because Catfish is a location people tend not to want to check. In inverted mode, it has a lot more stock because you're in the Dark World to start anyway. There is the Fire Rod from Stumpy. So we're going to have access to Mothula once he gets a weapon, most likely that hammer. And that will give him access to be able to take out Mothula and get the first boss. He just needs a sword to cut the curtain to get back there.
I have to thank Thalane for taking away the fire rod from Stumpy, because now he's a tree, and that would have been dangerous for him.
That would have been very dangerous. So what are we going to find in the digging game today? As anywhere from 1 to 30 digs. Normally I think it's 15 digs for a heart piece. I think it's 15. I've been told it isn't, but either way, what matters is what we get now. Around 16, 17, 18. I had a top hat for a second as design. 20 digs for some blueberries.
So that fire rod does open up some interesting access where we can now get our way into Ice Palace. And who wants to do an early Ice Palace with just the fire rod and the hammer?
My hand is not raised.
I will pass.
But it looks like he's going to hop down there and at least check it out. He might be seeing the writing on the wall, might be thinking he has to do it.
Well, he hasn't gotten the hammer yet, but I think he's going to head over to the Palace of Darkness area.
Yeah, he doesn't have Titan's either, so he can't do Ice Palace yet either.
He can walk right. It's because it's inverted mode. The door is.
Oh
just
yeah,
open.
the door's open. Okay, I forgot that. Yeah, that's
so you
true.
can just walk as soon as you get the flippers. You can swim your way in. Once you have either the bombos or fire rod, you can kill Freezors and you can go further.
Yeah, that is true. He can do that. So the lane is doing the pyramid and I presume also catfish checks right now, but first takes a death. So he's going to have to head back to his starting point.
He knocks hugs, I think, are 4 hearts base.
Definitely at least 2. Might be 4. You might be right.
Either way, it's ouchie.
It's a huge ouchie.
And he unfortunately has to take that same long trek around, as he does not have the hammer or hookshot, which are both hidden on this side of the Dark World. And saltyphry is going to give us a deeper dive into Thieves Town, and he has a weapon to defeat Blind with. The hammer on a single heart currently. That sounds like fun.
Sounds like a lot of fun. And we're going to get to find out what the first hint of the game is when we get up there. So the hint tiles sometimes will give us some very useful or not so useful information about the game. Or just about, about Legend of Zelda 1, because, hint tiles do that. We have no boots, so this room is very, very difficult for him to get through right now, as these red blobs are just not getting out of the way. There's a fire snake also loitering around the area there. This is not an easy room to do.
I definitely admire his patience going through this.
He made it. Very nicely done.
It was very kind of the anti-fairy to trap itself back there. That made it a little bit easier.
So the lane going to get his hook shot. Meanwhile, we have a hint tile. Some cash in a chest requiring a special unlock. Scratch the purple chest off of our agenda.
Definitely won't need to worry about that, though. The money is typically something that's harder to come by early on in Inverted Seed, because of just how fewer checks and guaranteed pots of cash there are available to these runners.
So the lane is making his trip up to Catfish. He will be very happy to find the hammer up here, I believe, as he also still does not have a sword. So go ahead.
He will have soon have to make it. Though saltyphry not forgetting most of the enemies he's facing right now could be hookshotted out of his way.
And he blows open the hole in the sunshine room, which I like to call the sunshine room because, well, you have the ray of sunshine coming in the window. There's some money in the chest in that room, and he's going to head downstairs and go looking for the maid.
Thalane just barely dodging that octo rock on a half heart that would have taken him down, but he's going to go ahead and throw his rock into the catfish and pull up his hammer.
As he stares at the wall, pondering his choices.
Why did I do this? He's going to save and quit out, and where will they head next? Saltyphry's going to go ahead and dive deeper into Thieves Town to see, hopefully, something that'll send us in a bit more offensive direction.
He might be making a nice pause play now with the fire rod because he started at Link's house, not at the Dark Chapel. No, he did start at the Dark Chapel. I thought he started at Link's house. My mistake. So he might be making the Thieves Town play himself then. Might check the... Nope, he's not checking the ledge. So he's just going to Thieves Town.
I think he was the one that already checked that, and we know it's just a 5.
Ah.
This is Zazak's make out of the way, just a compass. So we do know that the key for the big chest room is locked inside, as Blind cannot be holding on to the key. So we have one more item hiding on Blind, and that's 3 hearts. We have a hammer. Who's ready to fight Blind? Thankfully, he will have the script to start off with, but if he loses this first fight, that's going to be more of an entertaining venture.
It's still not a very comfortable fight to have. As we get the pun, I haven't seen the eye doctor in years. No, you haven't, Blind. It helps if you see. So good first set of hits. Good first 3 hits there. Now just to avoid getting hit because 3 hearts will make it very, very hard. I think he might have lost the script a little bit, so he has to get these 2 hits in very, very quickly. Very, very carefully. There's 1 of them. 3 hits, I should say. 2 more. There's 2. Get the last hit. Get the last hit. Get it in. Oh, he lost it. Oh.
It's so close. It's a very tough fight. It's 2 hearts of damage from a hug from a head or Blind, and it's a single heart from the fireballs.
And because he no longer has the script advantage, he leaves. He'll come back later when it's more worthwhile for him. So something he'll deal with later.
He has a few checks open now where we can get in. We can get fairly deep into the Palace of Darkness, depending on if we find a lamp or not. Though these runners may not need the lamp. However, with as few hearts as they have, it may be interesting to see how much of that they're willing to dive into. Looks like Saltyphry's going to go ahead and pick up their fire rod down here. And there are a couple bombs from the dig game.
Yeah, he's going to do the digging game. Not going to get anything he wants out of it because he's already almost maxed out above. When he digs, we'll get him some more blueberries. He's digging very straight, even lines today. I have to say, I like the initial digging setup there.
Yes, the lane has to make their way through Thieves Town here, down to just a single heart here. It's going to be entertaining making their way through the bottom of the dungeon here.
The question is, will the lane survive on 1 heart blind fight? That's a very, very tall order.
Alright, so as the access to Light World is gated the same way as the access to the Dark World, Cyclone, where do you think our Moon Pearl is hiding?
Ooh, I'm blind. That'd be kind of evil, but it's possible. It could be somewhere in Ice Palace. Could be... Have we seen all the chests we can get to currently in Skull Woods? I think we have the back of Skull Woods. There's a chest available it could be hiding in.
Well, we have not seen the back at all. So there's 3 chests back there. There's 2 checks back there yet.
And then Mocula's area itself has 1 available that we can get to right now. They just can't get to the bug.
Yeah, that was I included the one under the bridge.
Oh yeah,
one
right.
in the Gebdo puzzle.
Okay, good.
And Saltyphry is heading into Ice Palace. I'm kind of hoping that Moon Pearl's on Cold Stare because I'm not running this and they are. Some cash and some
Oh.
cash. There's the big red bomb. There's not going to be a pyramid fairy check today.
Well, as long as the lane doesn't see that hint, which I'm sure he will, then but he should see that hint. So yeah, I doubt either one will check that. So that takes 2 inconvenient checks out. The pyramid fairy and the purple chest are both no longer necessary.
And the lane unfortunately takes a hug there.
He hugged the blind guy.
As the hookshot comes in handy because it will still one-shot the pen gators as they're hard-coded to be one-shot by the hookshot.
So both runners, I'm sure, are feeling pretty bad about losing the blind fight there, and both runners, I already feel like they're behind just from that. But at the same time, I think watching this back, they'd be happy to know they both had that problem, and neither has really lost any ground.
He gets pen gatored.
Ouch! Getting pen gatored is not fun.
He decided not to take the time to switch back to the hook shot, so he ended up taking the death there. Probably if he hits that room again, he'll probably stop to
almost sync right now.
No, so we are. We're just a few frames behind each other. Difference being that saltyphry is doing this the second time.
Yeah. So they're gonna go through. The lane is gonna have to stop and open up the chest in the first Pengator room. Saltyphry just entered the left.
Nick's out of there this time.
Very nice, cleared by the lane as well on that room.
It definitely seems to be the right path to be on. If I had to wager a guess here, we don't have logical access to Death Mountain yet, as some people in chat were describing a potential sequence break, but.
Well, we could find something silly like the bow in here that sends them Palace of Darkness as well. You never know. It could be something like that coming up here. Looks like something requires the hammer. I didn't catch exactly what it was.
Some arrows require the hammer.
Some arrows. Thanks. Okay.
And saltyphry unfortunately smacks that Stalfos Knight out of the way of his bomb.
And there's our second look at the hand. Some arrows requires the hammer. Yep.
That's
and neither runner getting the quick kill on the Stalfos.
Missing that.
Wow, both runners not getting the quick kill, and he's not liking the positioning right now with the Stalfos Knight.
Well, he's only got one real good weapon to put him down with, and that's the pot that's left in the room.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they take damage from the fire rod. But saltyphry deciding not to bother with the bomb jump now. You don't really want to take the cost of that heart. It looks like the lane is going to try to set it up here.
And the bowling room, he just uses the hook shot instead of doing the bomb strat.
It appears he changed his mind.
He changed his mind. Yeah, he decided to hit the switch after all.
Because that would have left him down with a single heart, though there is one heart you can pick up in this room in that pot right there.
Yeah, if he had 3 hearts, he probably would have tried the bomb jump, but with only 1 heart, or with 2 hearts, and then doing the bomb jump to take a heart, if you miss, you also die, you go back to the start, so why take the risk? Just take the heart and do what you can here and hope it's not on cold.
And the freeze our room, unfortunately, only giving us a compass, so if we're going to find something in Ice Palace, we gotta run deeper. It also leads to the thought of, do you really want to be fighting Cold Stare with a hammer and 3 hearts?
Sure, what can go wrong? Said no one ever.
Though there is the potential, depending on how these keys lay out, that we may not need to worry about it so much.
By the way, we just had a double hint in Ice Palace. I want to point that out. Some arrows requires the hammer showed up on 2 hint tiles.
I believe it's something that in later versions they are looking to eliminate from the hint system. And if you've seen any of the testing version 31 phases, there's even more hints available.
I have not seen them yet. I should probably start taking a look at those. So I'm curious now. But yeah, that's the second time I've seen double hints. So that is definitely a good reason for them to want to take that out, because I'm sure it does happen more commonly than you would imagine. I've seen it twice already in just the seas I've called here.
I remember seeing one specifically set up in the future for the Smiths.
Oh?
Which I thought was interesting. It was like, something can be forged. So I definitely think that the hint system was one of the more interesting additions in the version 30 of the randomizer, as well as this inverted mode that we're now being shown now to much to their displeasure and our almost Roman pleasure of watching them suffer.
I personally love the there's the Moon Pearl. I personally love the hint system myself, only because the also from a commentary perspective, this gives us something to talk about and think about. What could this hint probably be referring to? What do you think this is? Oh, I think it's in Hookshot Cave. Okay, well, oh look, it's in Hookshot Cave. Things like that. So it really helps us from the commentary perspective as well. But yeah, the lane did find the Moon Pearl. saltyphry is going to be coming upon that Moon Pearl, and that is going to be as some people in chat are saying, your light world access.
All right, so now we've got access to the light world. Looking at that hint system, there is just looking at that arrow hint that we saw twice. I'm looking at that, and that's about just judging by my math here, that's about 17 different chests. So that we're going to find arrows in, and 10 of those are in Turtle Rock, or excuse me, in Ganon's Tower.
Oof.
It is not though. Another thing to bring up is that currently, as the way the hints are right now, they have to work that they refer to not the mode you're playing, but every mode. So, is locked by the hammer does not mean Turtle Rock because of inverted mode that we have here. Once we get access to the mountain, you will find that routing Death Mountain is kind of a nightmare, if I have to say so myself, just because of how many different ways you can go up, down, around the mountain. Getting into Turtle Rock, you can mirror your way into Mimic Cave, or mirror your way in, not in Mimic Cave, but into the laser brick.
It should be noted as well, interesting. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. It should be noted interestingly as well that even though we have a pendant required for Turtle Rock, that's only to get in the front door. You're going to find that in the inverted mode, the runners can actually use a back entry to Turtle Rock, and they're actually able to do the dungeon backwards without even needing to use any of their keys to go through doors, because when you go backwards, it doesn't use the key. So the runners may actually try and do that to get through Turtle Rock without having to use the keys. They'll just go straight to Trinex.
All right, and Thalane is going to go ahead on in and pick up his Uncle Assured sword now that he's gained access to the light world, and one could definitely not blame them.
And there is your sword.
Curious to see if they decide to devote time to do the front side of the escape sequence while they are here.
Well, it doesn't hurt to get it out of the way because you have your hammer, so at least you have a good way to kill the guards anyway. Get the checks in, make sure there's nothing down here, because this is a really good place for the game to hide things. I've seen Canis Samari, I've seen Bo, I've seen those kinds of things in here before.
And sword in hand, you're feeling a little bit better. And it looks like saltyphry is setting up to face Cold Stare.
Ooh, that's a chilly experience.
We're gonna go ahead down in here and pick up the full magic canter that's inside. Or the magic little pots, excuse me. Need full magic to take him down.
I guess it does that up to a full magic in the end with what he had, so he's at full magic now. And yep, he is going down to the Cold Stare. So this is gonna be a very challenging fight with 3 hearts. Those a Cold Stare hug, I think, is enough to kill you.
Oh, most definitely. The only thing that isn't going to one-shot you in this room is the ice falling from the ceiling.
Yep.
Alright, saltyphry jumping on down into the pit, picking up his fire rod. It'll take all of his magic to break open the shell, and he's got 3 Cold Stares to fight, and he cannot take a single hit from them.
And he's got a hard time getting to stay in the corner, too. I don't see them all going back to the corner very easily. He's going to try, though. Nope, they all get away. Not even a single hit. Ouch. This is going to be a hard fight.
Got a couple in cornered there, but sticking to the top of the room, which is a good strategy I've seen, because the ice blocks cannot break open on the top of the room.
Yep, that's a very good strategy. He's trying to avoid as much possible damage as he can. He just into the ice. Come get me. I'm safe up here.
Just has to be careful he does not work himself into a corner.
It looks like the ice that would have hit him there actually didn't hit him either, interestingly.
That's
oh, he got a hug. He got hugged. Ooh, that hurts.
I can't imagine him trying again until he gets a bit better weapon. Yep, he's facing out, but he gave it a shot.
At least that's not where the Moon Pearl was. It was earlier on in the dungeon.
So he did gain his light world access, but it's definitely once you. I can see where the decision is. Like, I'll give this one shot. If it works out, great. I don't have to come back here. Because fighting them with Master Sword isn't that much better.
Not really, no, not at all.
And it looks like Thalane is going to head on over to the Eastern Palace area.
Using the path through...
Oh, because he picked up the bow in the escape sequence while we were watching that fight.
He did, yes.
So he can now clear the Eastern Palace. I'd imagine that's the first thing on his menu.
He can clear Palace of Darkness as well if he chooses to do that later. But he doesn't have the mirror, so he can't just warp over there yet. But if he were to find the mirror, let's say in Eastern Palace, he'll be able to warp over to Palace of Darkness and take care of that right away. And he can find the mirror right here as well.
Mm-hmm. And the mirror takes us from the light into the dark now.
Well, I found a heart container, some money, and some arrows. So not really much in Sahasrar's closet, just the armory today, I guess.
Yeah, not the worst thing, but no progression. So at least it doesn't feel like a total waste. As we're still a few bucks short of Zora, who is in Logic.
By the way, that full heart was the only full heart in the item pool. I mentioned earlier, that is the only full heart in the item pool. So the lane will be happy to have that fourth heart in his inventory right now.
Yeah, so the rest of the heart containers that we'll find, we'll have to find in some of the 20 pieces that are left in the item pool somewhere.
Brian, we found your K in the Lost Woods. Please come claim it.
Alright, saltyphry going ahead and start going the eastern side, the western side of the light world, which definitely can't blame them. It's a lot of checks. Interesting to decide not to go for their assured sword quite yet, but I think they're just thinking overall item density. And he picked up the boots out in the Lost Woods as well, it looks like.
Yeah, he definitely is going fast now.
Well, we have, though that is kind of the nature of inverted seeds. Once you make your way into the light world, it starts to open up because there's just so many chests available, and the logic can only send you so many different ways while still in the dark world.
Yeah, the logic has to push you to the light world whenever at some convenient location. For example, there's the lamp right now, so now the dark rooms are fully in logic as well. The path to Death Mountain is logic. There is the mirror I prophesized about.
Oh. So
not on the right screen, but we found it.
Saltyphry starting on this side will gain a little bit of a time advantage when they make it over to, if they decide to head to the escape sequence next, get their sword and their bow. They can double bang out the Pod Eastern combo, just the reverse of what we normally see.
Yeah, so if the lane had gone over to Kakariko before heading over to Palace of Darkness, he would have had the mirror and he would have been able to do 2 dungeons at once. So it would have been a nice 2-for-1. Right now, he's going to be doing just Eastern Palace. He's not going to be able to do anything else at the same time. He's going to have to go look around again afterwards. A bottle is above the pose. There's some information, at least. That's our sick kid check.
Alright, and to answer questions in chat, the Cane of Burna, how it functions in Hardened Expert is does not grant invincibility. It has a normal magic drain and only does the spark still goes around and does fighter sword damage. So you may pick that up. So, like for example, in an inverted seed, that may be your weapon that is given to you to defeat blind.
Now, it should be noted as well that the magic drain is a thing for all magic type items, but there is one place where that does not happen, and that is in Spike Cave. Spike Cave, everything is normal. I think even the potions work normally. I haven't actually tried it, but I think even the potions work normally in there. So you can still do. Go ahead.
And the same should be true, at least on the magic side, I believe in Laser Bridge, because Laser Bridge has its own logic requiring an invincibility item, especially in these modes where the mirror shield does not exist. But Burna does not have a multiplier on it like the cape does, because in this mode it's purely a damage item and is invincibility for the Spike Cave.
The lane has found 4 heart pieces now, so he has a 5th heart on his health meter now. And there is Quake in the library today, and saltyphry having the boots now is able to pick that up.
So things are definitely coming up. saltyphry in the loot. Thalane will make their way over there soon enough, but one can only hope. Looks like he's going ahead and picking up the blacksmith while he has the opportunity.
Doing a nice trick, lighting the torches back here so you can see where he's going. The dark room is still not in logic. Even with that fire rod, this dark room is still not in logic. He's going for the money right now in this room, which is a nice idea. That doesn't need all, but
he now has Zora.
Yeah, I just wanted enough for Zora. Yeah, he was just going for Zormite. Now he's going to lift the pot that you just saw there before it went dark, and he's going to go down through the door there, and he's going to be out of the dark, and everything's fine from there. But even though he is going back here with the Fire Rod, it is still not considered in logic unless you have the lamp. We know the lamp is available because it's in Kakariko Village, so we know this is fully in logic. He does not know that yet.
However, at this level, you're just going to go ahead and blaze through dark rooms, even though the game doesn't expect you to.
That's correct.
Alright, and saltyphry, go ahead and take care of the hammer pegs while they are here. One of the advantages of inverted mode, the Titan's Mitts, while being a huge item in a normal seed, the only location that is 100% Titan's Mitts lock in inverted mode is the King's Tomb. Nothing else in the game requires the Titan's Mitts.
Even Misery Mire doesn't require the Titan's Mitts because you would be able to mirror over from the desert. And you don't go to the ledge above the desert because the flute doesn't even work in the light world, I don't believe anymore. It works in the dark world, so you wouldn't even be fluting over from Misery Mire. You just mirror from the desert and you're in Misery Mire.
But you can flute over to that, because the flute will work through the dark world. It doesn't do a whole lot logically. It does just make overworld travel a little bit. And even then it's questionable just because of just how the way things are set up. Now, saltyphry's going to go ahead and look at one of the other map edits here, as all of those light world locations that require a mirror are just kind of open to you. So like K45, which has our second sword of the game, is available to us right away as soon as we gain access to the light world. So when saltyphry makes his way to the Uncle, they will have their master sword in hand.
And will he be heading up there shortly, since he's heading towards in front of where his house normally is right now? He is rushing over to the castle for that master sword.
So if you want to keep things coming up saltyphry, and if you want a third game, you're going to hope they're going to head into the escape sequence after and pick up the bow.
For now, he's checking the tree pulls, some small magic jars on there.
Not the worst thing, but not the best either. Because with the expert mode rules, the enemy drop rate is down to 25%. So there's going to be a few less magic decanters floating around the world.
There's a heart piece in the dam, which I don't think saltyphry has seen the dam yet. The lane is heading over to Mini Moldorm Cave, and you're going to see in a minute why we call it Mini Moldorm Cave, but he's going to look into what the bug has first. The bug is just releasing individual hearts today, which he just lost 2 of to the crab. Those crabs, you would think they were a dark world by the way they damaged, but no, they just hurt. So here's why we call it Mini Moldorm Cave. There are 4 Mini Moldorms here we have to take out.
Interesting deciding to go for the bomb strategies as opposed to using the hook shot, but
whatever works.
Those things are just kind of a pain in the you know what. And there's our first bottle, 20 rupees. 20 rupees. Another heart piece, and 10 sticks. So we finally have access to Sick Kid, so thalane will be a little bit faster when he makes his way into Kakariko Village, so he'll be able to knock out Sick Kid right away. saltyphry should be obtaining their bow momentarily.
It could be argued that that's technically the second bottle we know about, because we know that there's a bottle above the pose, which means on the graveyard ledge. Just so that was a hint that we think we got in Eastern Palace. We haven't actually picked it up yet, though.
But it is available to us, because if you just make your way up to the sanctuary, you can walk right up. There's now a ladder built that'll just walk you right up to that ledge.
That's right.
Even though we know where the boots are, we will not have access to King's Tomb until we have the Titan's Mitts, so that's the only place that's locked by them. Go ahead and check out our first check of Ice Rod Cave by Thalane here.
And this is a very cold place, hence why you see all this cold-looking tilage. $50 in the chest there. That'll dry cold.
All right. So looking at what's available to us, Cyclone, what are you thinking is going to be gating us from the end of this seed? Still looking for quite a bit. But what do you think is going to be the most elusive?
Well, let's just see what else might have opened up here. You could argue that Tower of Hera. I'm not sure if we can get.
I think the mountain's going to be coming up.
Tower of Hera can be. Yeah, we can get to Tower of Hera. So Tower of Hera is opened up. We can't open the desert yet because of the boots, and because we mirror from light to dark, I think you have to have the book to go into desert. So
Yep.
desert might be a good gate.
Yeah, the book is now the only access to Desert Palace, so it becomes a second ice rod of sorts. We'll have to complete all dungeons, so we're going to find the ice rod and the book in order to finish this seed.
Yeah. So, and also the KS Maria, the 2 of the pendants are still out there, so there are still some good gating possibilities. Like, it might still be early to say what the actual hard thing would be, but knowing that the pendants can always play a role, we don't know what Misery Myers pendant is, and that is really the only one we really will need a pendant for today. We might need one to get in the front door, but it's not likely for Turtle Rock. So it really depends on whether Misery Mire is Quake or something else. That could also be a bit of a gate today. That entire desert area could be a gate today.
Well, what I do like to see is take note that Desert Palace is a pendant, so it is potential that the book could be in Ganon's tower.
It could be, very much.
And the Waterfall Fairy having just $25 for us, and saltyphry's going to go ahead. I imagine they're going to knock out both Palace of Darkness and Eastern Palace here with the mirror in hand.
This is going to be a bit of a time save over the lane, who has to make a separate trip back later and find Kiki in the maze the normal way later. So it's going to be a bit of a time save for sure. Whereas the lane is now checking the Zora area. I didn't catch what was on the ledge, but we're going to see what's on King Zora himself in a moment.
That was just a piece of heart, which the lane may take his time to
might pick it up. He might pick it up. Having only 9 hearts, it's worth getting your health when you see it.
It's nice to see him taking a swim there, as it's marginally faster, as he has not yet found the books and the boots in the Lost Woods.
And for $500 today, King Zora gives you a fairy. Or is that a B? That's a B. I was going to say the fairy anyway wouldn't give you as much help as it would in easier difficulties. It's actually not worth as much in expert mode at all.
I don't think they can be. I don't think fairies in the bottle can be in the item pool at this point.
Oh, really? Okay, I wasn't aware of that. But fairies only give you a heart anyway at this point. Yeah, fairies only give you a heart at this point anyway.
Take that as anecdotal evidence. Alright, saltyphry making their way through the Eastern Palace. It looks like the lane's going to head on over and take care of their Kakariko Village finally.
And so there's that hint with the... There's that bottle above the post hint, so saltyphry knows where a bottle is if he needs it.
Looks like the lane is bending towards Skull Woods. It's now completable. He may, with 6 hearts, he may feel confident enough to go ahead and take care of Mothula here.
Still a tall order, but then so is doing expert.
Actually, he's taking the back path here to reach the Dark World, or to reach the Light World. So I think that's just a minor time save, but a route I've not seen, but because inverted. Yep, he's going to head into the Lost Woods here and pick up his boots. So while running over some recursive checks, I would ask you, if you have not already, these guys should get a follow from you on Twitch. They are putting on one heck of a show for you and putting themselves out there on a really tough and potentially painful seed. So the best thing you can do is show them a little bit of love and support.
While you're at it, give my co-commentator Bungie to the tree a follow as well. And Mind of Me is doing our tracking today. I want to give a shout out to Mind of Me as well.
Alright, so I want to take an inventory here. Is there anything that's out there, that's jumping out there, that could be blocking onto, sitting on the pedestal?
Well, on the pedestal, let's see. Canis Samaria could definitely be on the pedestal. Because all the dungeons, all 5 dungeons on the right are crystals, and while they don't all require Canis Samaria, the ones that do are on the right side. So the Canis Samaria is the item that literally could be sitting on the pedestal, in my opinion, right now.
Of course, the Ice Rod now.
Ice Rod too.
And then looking at items that could be locked in Ganon's tower, the first one that jumps out to me is the book.
I actually want to see the book in Ganon's tower. That would be an interesting thing to have up there.
It would be an interesting bit of logic, as Thalane kind of missed that bonk. We're going to our first check of the bonk rocks here. saltyphry, I blinked and I missed that Armos Knights fight.
Wait, there was a boss in that room?
I think so. I mean, he's holding up he's holding up our first crystal at 39. His first crystal at 39 minutes. So I'd imagine there was a boss in there.
Are you sure it wasn't just sitting on the ground when we walked in?
Alright, so Lane is deciding not to pick up their bottle above the pose, and they're going to make their first check of the back of the escape sequence.
And these are 3 easy to forget chests, plus the one in the dark crossroads if you don't have the lamp when you initially come to do escape, assuming you even do that. So that might be 4 that we might check here. There's 20 rupees. There's the key to get to the lower escape. There's our book that we were just talking about. Desert is now available, and with a fire source is completely clearable, and can't be boots locked because we have the boots.
Alright, so it's another dungeon we can complete, and Thalane's going to go ahead and navigate their way through the dark room here. It is in logic now that they have the key.
But he doesn't have the lamp, which I find interesting. He hasn't done Kakariko Village fully yet, because that was in the back of Blind's Hut.
I think he wanted to just knock the back of escape, was hoping not to find the key there. Did so he'll have to navigate his way through the dark, but he seems to be confident in it.
He lit one of the torches. I don't know if there's any torches in this room, though. He's going to do it in the dark. And listening. We'll hear him open the chest when he opens it. We may not see the item.
There's the chest.
There it is, and we see a red boomerang, so not worth the look. There's a compass in the first chest of Palace of Darkness, so we are technically bow locked, but we do have a bow.
So it's all right here. We're going to keep on heading on back. Interesting that Thalane is deciding to make their way... They're going to make their way back out to check the Sanctuary chest.
Yeah, you don't start...
can be bought.
Interesting. So the Sanctuary, you don't start there like in regular mode, because in the Dark World, that's your Sanctuary. So you don't start in this Sanctuary. We're going to get this chest out of the way, make sure there's nothing here. I do not question this play because of the mode that we're playing.
I imagine he's already found the map, so he has to know that there's an item here. Or potential for an... Actually, no, I guess he
Or find the map.
So he could have checked his inventory screen, because he'd already cleared through that.
Yeah, that's lost time, because he could have, if he didn't do the item counting, I think he did the front of escape too, so if he had known he didn't find his map, he didn't need to open that. Yeah, he wouldn't have had to open that.
So he's finally going to make his way into here, and he's going to find the lamp, which would have made what he just did a little bit easier.
It's going to make sense for him now.
A nice bonk over by saltyphry.
So 42-minute back of Blind's Hut. This only in invert mode, ladies and gentlemen. And there's your mirror. And he's going to wish he had that for the trip to Easter Palace earlier.
So far, if you had to pick a guess, I would put saltyphry in the lead just slightly because of routing advantages.
I would say so, yes.
Just being able to pair things a bit more equally. However, there's still a lot of execution in front of us. We only have 1 crystal so far, and we're 42 minutes in. So saltyphry should have their second dungeon completion here momentarily, but that will be the red pendant.
Now, we do need all the dungeons anyway, but this will not give us any access to Ganon's Tower. So in the normal Ganon's Tower sequence, they're still at 1 crystal each, but it is a dungeon that has to be cleared anyway, so it will be 2 dungeons cleared. It will be a small advantage for him at this point.
I'm not seeing too much that could be locked into Ganon's Tower that could be holding progression at this point.
Now, I could see the lane going to... Actually, no, he doesn't have Samari. Even though he could go to the desert area, I have a feeling he might actually put that off until he finds the Samari. But of course, now I'm starting to think Samari could be in desert. So if he does what I'm suggesting there, this could turn out to be a running mistake.
Well, he still has the much more item-dense Palace of Darkness available, and with the hookshot, hammer, and flippers in hand, we also have the very item-dense Swamp Palace available to us as well.
We are seeing Palace of Darkness, meanwhile, on saltyphry's side. I don't think I've seen anything that worthwhile over there yet. Well, the shovel might be, depending what's in there.
And he's going ahead and farming up the rupees down here, so he'll be able to take care of King Zora, as we find it's just a $20 tip for showing a bottle to the sick kid.
Nice of him to give his allowance. I don't know why he feels he has to give his allowance to Link, though.
I mean, he was just so thankful because he was feeling so sick after that cold wind blew off of Death Mountain on him.
Maybe Link brought some medicine and, you know, he paid him for the medicine.
I think our bottle contained a bee, or one of the bottles contained a bee, and the other one I think was just empty.
It's an experimental medicine.
In its vanilla location.
It's experimental medicine.
Thalane gonna go ahead and pick up their Quake medallion, and we'll find their piece of heart from Jeremiah here. Saltyphry going ahead, and we're heading into the big chest here in.
He actually just found the big key here in the dark maze. That's actually utterly convenient. $5 for that.
There was nothing. There were no other places the big key could be. He had checked the rest of them.
I know, but I'm just saying it was right next to the big chest, which is just convenient.
Feels good, man. All right, so I admit I have not been counting items, so I'm not sure if the Helmosaur King is holding on to something. I think I just saw, though, we had the map, compass, and big key, so I think we got something there to find.
Seems like it, yep.
And for those talking about potions in chat, reminder that the potions now only give a single heart and 25% of a magic meter. So I'm going to save a little bit of time as he had the boots here for Hammerpegs.
And Hammerpegs has a piece of heart, and in our reign of getting as much of the 9 hearts as we can, he picks it up.
And he's still a heart ahead of Saltyphry here.
And now where is Zelda going to go? He already checked the library, so we know he's done that.
Time to go check on the race game.
Yeah, he hasn't done the race game yet. I was wondering if he did the race game. And no, demonstrating that you don't need to have a bomb to check it. You just have to rush into it with boots, and you can blow up the wall with your body. That was going to be one of the fastest race games you'll see with the boots and the sword. This is super fast for $300. 7 seconds.
Well, it doesn't feel too bad diving it to find a bit of money there. Definitely worse things it could have been. And Saltyphry's heading on down to hammer out the differences with the Helmosaur King.
And they won't need much more money for the seed as well. Now, you may be noticing the cave that the lane is walking into right now. Normally, that is not hauled up. By the way, there's his Master Sword. That area is not normally a flat ground like that. You notice the VT in the grass as well, standing for a certain developer that we will not name. But that area is normally a cave you would mirror to. You can't access it because it's a rocky area. There's some rocks out there. It's flattened out and it's turned into grass in this one because you can't mirror to it anymore. So that's how you access it. And you're going to find the same with Checkerboard Cave, which the lane might be heading over to right now while he checks Agahnim.
As the lane gets the new set of stairs that it takes you up to the Bombos tablet. Getting $5 from the heavens, and Saltyphry unfortunately gets stung by the Helmosaur King.
Yeah, this part of the world has a lot of modifications for the inverted mode specifically. So we're going to get to Agahnim right now as Saltyphry is heading back into Palace of Darkness. And the lane blows open the hole in the old man's cave and finds $5.
Saltyphry heading in for redemption here against the Helmosaur King momentarily. Not so good feeling from tipping all that time into Agahnim, but Checkerboard Cave is available here, and we'll see if they decide to dive into Desert Palace, which I imagine they probably will.
So here's our hauled out Checkerboard Cave that we were talking about. And inside Checkerboard Cave today, apparently not worth it.
It's a big 20.
That wouldn't be worth it.
Not at this point. We can't really buy potions, and we've already turned in King Zora.
Now we're probably going to mirror at this point, I would imagine, to the Mire area. Oh no, he doesn't have the... He has the mirror, he wants to do Desert Palace, though. He may mirror afterwards to check the Mire area.
He could set up his mirror. He could, mirror after he walks out of the other entrance and then check the Mire shed.
That's what I think he will do.
We know, even if it is boots locked, we're already taken care of here, so... So this puts the lane a little bit closer in the time, a little bit closer this race has become with that accidental death to the Helmosaur King here by saltyphry. He's gonna have to be careful. He's down to 2 hearts again. Those fireballs are a nuisance.
Yeah, he has that nice spiky tail as well, but we have Silver Arrow, which will not be able to do anything because I should point out, Silver Arrow, I was about to say he could kill the boss quickly, but I would be wrong. Silver Arrows only work on Ganon, by the way, so we still had to use several arrows. We can now rob the king. The lane has the Titansmith from the right side of Desert.
And the Titansmith's only opening up the King's Tomb, but it does make routing of the mountain just a little bit easier.
And let's see what's on the ledge. There's the big key. It was a boot lock big key.
But the boots were well. Thank you, game, for letting us know. So if you hadn't gone to Lost Woods yet, you were going to know, hey, dum-dum, you should have been to the Lost Woods, dum-dum.
Oh, I can't talk. That's good.
Thank you, game.
Oh.
I think I'm broken now.
Oh, I am broken.
Well, he has not found the small key, so he has to go, and he'll have to get that off of Landmolus and come back, by the looks of it here.
Back in the pools, we had a situation just like that, but it was a little bit different. We actually had the boots requires 3 pendants as the hint. And it was like, oh, thanks.
Alright, so Thalane's going to go ahead and make their way back to the Landmolus. Interesting scenario there is, I know they're holding on to the small key, so to beat the boss in order to go back to the front side, and we've only found 1 item in the Titan's midst.
Meanwhile, I think we're on Graveyard Ledge, so we're going to get our bottle back here for saltyphry right now. There it is. And the lane is on his way back to Moldorm. Going through Tower Room, getting his key on the right. That's the second Tower Room, I believe. He's going to open the fire access right now. Going to probably use his lamp because it doesn't use as much magic. He missed a shot, so let's try that again. Igor will go to sleep so he can walk over the door. And we'll be in the Landmolus fight.
Has the Master Sword, the hammer, and a couple fire rod shots, so it shouldn't give him too much trouble. Interesting deciding to pull out the bow. He doesn't have access to the silver arrows. Some quick shots there. Gets 2 arrows into both of those first Landmolas.
I saw 2 in one of the worms. They were both sticking there. That were really nice shots.
He got 2 into both of the Landmo. That was impressive.
Oh, yeah, that was.
So that softened up those 2, and saltyphry finished at the back of the escape. Also did not count their items, so they wouldn't wasted time on the map. So
at least they both did
it. Up here. We have quite a race on our hands, folks.
Ooh, we're up to 7 hearts for the lane.
Definitely feels good. saltyphry is going to pick up another piece down here in the Bonk Rocks. So looking at what's available to us right now, we can now defeat Skull Woods, we can defeat Swamp Palace, we can go back and defeat Blind, we can defeat Cold Stare,
Tower. Palace of Darkness?
Yeah, Palace of Darkness, we've already completed it on one side. The only places we cannot complete right now are Turtle Rock and Misery Mire.
And that sounds correct to me. I think you're correct.
So a lot of the game is available as we find the first and only shield for Thalane there. All 3 are in the pool, but they only pick up the 1.
It's starting to make me think the Case Mari could be on the pedestal. We still have a Tower Heron unchecked 2 items in there. We still have Swamp House unchecked 6 items in there. So Case Maria, Ice Rock could both be in those dungeons. We'll find out when we get there.
King's Tomb has not yet been checked as well, and it was just opened up. The access was open to it by Thalane, but looks like they're going to go head on up toward the mountain with a plethora of items and if I may so, a routing quagmire. And then we'll see a not often checked hint tile here by saltyphry here. And we find out that we do not need to worry about the western side of the left side of Swamp Palace.
The lane probably will not check that hint tile, so he could be checking Swamp Palace and wasting some time. saltyphry will save time not having to check that now. Meanwhile, you're going to see an unconventional old man save today because you notice that we entered the Bumper Cave area in the Lost World. you're going to find the Light World Bumper Cave is where that old man cave used to be as well. They're switched around. So we're going to be taking this old man all the way up Death Mountain, all the way over to the portal. We're going to move over to the Light World. Somehow the old man will not change form. I guess he has his own moon pearl or something. And we're going to then walk down the mountain, take him home, and he's going to do some mountain climbing again into his house.
Or more like mountain descending. He's I can't think
Yeah,
of
either way, you have to climb up or down. Yeah.
That's bugging me. I can't think of the word for that. Jumping down something with like rigging gear. Dang it! Someone in chat, help me!
I like how the rocks look like a Triforce on there too. And that miraculous climbing by the old.
Repelling. Repelling was the word I was looking for.
Ah, okay.
He repelled down the mountain gracefully.
The lane is going into the back of inside Spectral Rock. There's a hidden tile and item back here. What item are we going to find back here today? Back here we have just some blueberries, but that hint tile is going to be more useful, so we're going to pick up the blueberries to read the hint tile. And it says, some cash is in the sewers. Thanks, game!
Oh, Thalane already wandered his way through the dark to find that. Saltyphry at least had light to do so. We're going to get a hint tile check on Swamp Palace to find the moon pearl is in Ice Palace. We knew that already.
Thanks, game!
These hints are fun,
Actually,
aren't they?
I don't think you can get here without having that moon pearl by now, can you?
It depends on, let's see, the flipper.
Hammer was a catfish.
Everything was in the Dark World, so yes. The flippers, hookshot, and hammer were all in the Dark World.
Oh, maybe they could have gotten here. Okay. Interesting.
The hint locations don't care about logic.
Yeah, that's true. So we are going to find 7 chests in Paradox Cave. The first 2 for the lane right now are a Mushroom and the Ether Medallion. So there's 2 of our medallions. That's a 66% chance for Mr. Meyer. In Turtle Rock, we're not even going to count today. What are we going to find in the other 5 once we dispatch these? Oh, nice double shot on the Mini Moldorm. They're very nicely done. Switch will go down. We're going to open some bombs. There's the bombos. We have all the medallions. So we can get into the dungeons anyway now. We just need the King of Samaria to make our way through. And Singulero happens to be back there as well.
The numismatists out there would be available, and chat calling us out. Yes, they would had to have the moon pearl in order to pull the lever to open up Swamp Palace.
That is true. So yes, you would have had to have the moon pearl in order to get in.
Access the hint.
Yeah, you would need the moon pearl for access to the hint. So yeah, thanks, game.
So we're getting somewhere, and Thalane is having their fun moving up and down and in and around the mountain, trying to get all those checks gone through. Laser Bridge is available to Thalane if he decides to dive through that, and it is logically accessible with the Cane of Burna in hand. So it becomes do you want to get yourself stuck there, or do you want to get yourself stuck chucking Spike Cave, which is also in logic. There's the mountain is a routing quagmire at this moment.
But there's so many good things up there you can pick up and get out of the way, so nothing wrong with checking you at all. So we're in Hookshot Cave right now, which gives us 4 more locations, which again may or may not be useful, like that big 20 we just found, or like those 10 arrows that we just found, or like that other big 20 that we just found. So, last chance. Yeah, that wasn't useful.
Gonna go to head on over and see what the medallion requirement is for Turtle Rock. You can just jump down and open it regardless.
Yeah.
Where's the Quake medallion?
It is Quake, so he's gonna go in the front door anyway because why not? But he can access the rest from the back if he chooses. However, actually, he's just gonna go in for the hint tile. He can't even go in right now because he doesn't have the King of Samaria. So he's going to go in for the hint towel, and it'll be interesting to see if he chooses to go in the back of Turtle Rock.
Let's see. I'm not sure if the logic require. I mean, all right. So we know we have to take the coffee break in Tower of Hera. So that's not the biggest hint. However, just looking at what's available to Turtle Rock because of inverted mode, they could access Laser Bridge. If the big key is in there, I think the big chest would open up, depending, I'm not sure if the logic takes into account having the hook shot to cross that gap or not.
No, you can actually go in through the Laser Bridge entrance and access Turtle Rock that way from as your first entrance, which seems to be what he's doing right now.
But you can also jump directly into Mimic Cave, and you have to be careful of those lasers. Those hurt.
They do, but because you came in through the door here, you can take the Death Warp and not be worried because you can open right up in the same room.
Go ahead and make
he's going to use some
burner.
invincibility. Yeah, he's using a little bit of invincibility. Try to get the last one.
He would have enough magic to clear through there and then mirror out of the way.
Yep, he's not happy about that right now.
Go ahead and just take the death. But he has access, so if he jumps down to where the Mimic Cave is, he would then have access to the big chest if he had found the big key, because you can like hook shot over to it.
Right.
But I don't know if the logic accounts for that or not.
You also need the King of Samari to go back up through that dark room, so you'd have to access the big chest, like you said, from the other entrance. You wouldn't be able to do it from the Laser Bridge side, unfortunately. Unless you're Andy and you can hover.
Yeah. There's just a lot of interesting quirks to routing Death Mountain that exist because inverted mode.
Meanwhile, here's Mimic Cave. We have these lovely gorillas that we have to take out here. We call them mimics, but they're actually called gorillas in the game. And there is another piece of heart.
We're starting to get low on heart pieces at this point. It's interesting to see how many of them have been made available to us now.
Yeah, that's very interesting to see a lot of those early.
Alright, so from here you can look at the big chest, but I don't think he found the big key, so... How much is available to him at this point?
He's gonna go into the side. He could have got up to...
No, he couldn't. He can get to the vanilla big key chest.
I'm surprised he can go to Roller Room. He must be saving Roller Room for when he mirrors out, so he can go back up to Roller Room at that point. But I would have done that and then mirrored back out anyway, so I'm surprised he's not doing that.
As you can see, Turtle Rock is a mess. So with the two keys he has, nice Super Mario 2 or Doki Doki Panic Shy Guy sprite for the bunny there. Now he's found the big key.
So when he mirrors out, he'll have the big chest immediately available. Gets his full match.
Making their way through Desert Palace now.
He's gonna go backwards, but why is he going? Oh, he's going to Chain Chomper, and then he's gonna mirror for the Chain Chomper because he can't go any further. Unless King of Samaria is here, that would be very evil.
He has to be careful because right now that Chain Chomp will kill him.
And there's the map.
$20.
And now Roller Room. He didn't take the key from the Pokey either, I don't think, did he?
I don't think he did.
No, because I didn't see him kill that, and he is going to be down a key. He's going to need that key later because he opened the... well, maybe not. He may not have to do the front Turtle Rock, and he did save the key on the one room, so maybe he won't need the Pokey key.
And saltyphry gets his boots hint in the room that requires boots.
Yeah, we got a good laugh out of that hint.
Actually, yeah, the chat calling us, he did call us, or he did pick up that from the Vanilla Big Key room, but he just went ahead and grabbed the Vanilla Big Key chest anyway. As of right now, we would call this it's pretty much neck and neck. It really comes down to the main thing that's holding us back right now is the Cane of Samaria, and I think if I'm looking at this correctly, that's the only thing that's holding us out of no/go mode.
No, yeah.
The ice
there's
rod.
the ice rod on.
Oh, saltyphry found the ice rod. Was that in Swamp Palace while we were working through all the nightmares?
Yeah, I was watching the lane. I wasn't even watching saltyphry, so it must have been in the Swamp Palace because that's where he was. As he finds a shield and $5 in the Myra Shed and $20 for the lane in Spiral Cave.
And thanks to our tracker, reminded me who's watching us while we aren't watching. The ice rod was on Argus.
Oh my, that's an interesting location for the ice rod.
And it'll probably take the lane a little bit longer to get back to that, as they, depending on if they found the Cane of Samaria or not, they did not see the left side of Swamp Palace useless hint that saltyphry found by the Ice Rod Cave location in the Dark World. A hint tile you do not see often checked. Alright, and Thalane is going to go ahead and get our first check here of Tower of Hera. And probably will hit the... they're going to go ahead and check the tablet first.
And I agree with the Tower of Hera check because not only, even though there's only 2 items in here and it might seem not very worthwhile, there are 2 hint tiles in here. And as long as those don't get duplicated, that can be some useful information or not, depending what's in here.
And he does know via the hint that he's going to have to go downstairs.
Yeah, he knows he has to go downstairs anyway, so we're going to check the 2 items here anyway because they could be our items, then we can skip everything else. That's not one of our items, that's a map, so he's not even going to waste time on that.
Alright, saltyphry gonna go ahead and burn down the landmo here. Find just a green hint there.
I bet you expected help, didn't you?
I always love the money is in the banana stand.
Yeah, it almost seems like it'd be a hint until you realize it's referenced.
No, I still think my favorite hint is some caches in Ganon's Tower. Just how much junk fill there is. It's pretty much guaranteed every game.
No, one of my favorites is the Key of Evil's Bane is in Ganon's Tower.
So that means you get to play a game in Key Sanity.
Yeah. But in terms of joke hints, my favorite is go to the next room.
Thalane burns down the final tile and pick up their big key down here. A nice fire rod dash there for a little bit of swag.
And now we go upstairs.
Alright, saltyphry, where are you going to head to next? He's heading in the direction of Skull Woods and Thieves Town. Both need to be completed. Thieves Town, he just needs to fight the boss. And it looks like he's going to go ahead and pick up Redemption against Blind the Thief.
I'll get you this time, blind boy. So now the lane is going to come upon another chest, the big chest if he chooses to bomb jump to it, which he might, or hook shot, and the hint tile here, which may or may not be useful. Some caches in Hookshot Cave. Thank you, game, for that wonderful hint. There's our swag net.
Hooray, the bug net, my favorite.
That means we can now defeat Agahnim. Joke.
And speaking of Agahnim, something we didn't check into on Inverted as saltyphry takes care of Blind Part 2. Agahnim is now hiding in the Ganon's Tower location in the Dark World, while Ganon's Tower has moved into the Castle Tower in the Light World.
Yeah, this is another thing that is changed in Verd mode. It's you just walk up the mountain to Ganon's Tower, and Ganon's Tower is open because that is where Aghanim's Tower is. You can't get into the area where you normally would be Aghanim's Tower because that is locked by the crystals. You can't get in without having the crystal.
Now, it would be interesting. I think that if the lane clears the rest of the mountain checks, I wouldn't be surprised to see him mirror over and take care of Aga 1 now. Because it would push him. I think he should. It would push him off the mountain. It looks like, yep, he's going to go ahead and take care of that. It's going to push him off the mountain and put him back. Though, that leaves Spike Cave Orphan, and that could be holding on to Arcane of Samaria here. Arcane of Samaria being the only item that we are looking for no mode. The lane still needs to make their way into Swamp Palace and pick up the Ice Rod from Argus.
Now, if the King of Samari is in one of those orphan areas on the mountain, that would be unfortunate for him because he's not going to get that. He won't come back for that for a long time if that's the case.
And it looks like saltyphry is heading over toward a pedestal check.
I think he is. Yeah, you're right. Let's find out what's on the pedestal. Ladies and gentlemen, get your pedestal hype in chat as we find out if there's anything useful or not so useful.
Actually, he's blindfolding it right now.
He's doing a blindfold. Get your hype going, everyone. What are we going to have on the pedestal today? As the pennants sparkle, we get the flash. And it's a bag of powder!
That could potentially be Arcade of Samaria, though. Hold on, folks.
It could be. Let's see what that powder does.
It's going to take us a while to get to that check, I think, because he's going to take care of Skull Woods first. But boy, oh boy, are we holding on to some potentially spicy things.
Oh, no kidding.
Could it be... I mean, going through what it does, at least it does give us access to powdering the anti-fairies, which is unfortunately just a single heart. Thankfully, it's not insane mode where it turns them into bees, but not as useful. But it still helps a little bit. As that Wallmaster eats a fire rod shot. Thalane making their way through the castle tower, showing off some NMG stuff. Feels pretty good. Just blazing through that castle tower. It's a fun thing to see at this level how they clear through that.
Oh, the lane gets pushed into the pit. Gonna have to try this again. This time the Gar gets pushed into the pit, and he's heading upstairs.
All right, so saltyphry, Master Sword, Fire Rod, and Hammer in hand. Does have some sword beams to do some. Oh, at least he did. Has to be careful though. It's 2 hearts from. He's got down to any damage is going to kill him now.
And the princess gets zapped in the dark world, which is kind of convenient since that's where we came from. And we're gonna go fight a wizard right now. Let's see if we're gonna get the bug dead out.
Mothula with a single heart left.
He's not gonna use the bug stress save, but ladies and gentlemen, get your guesses in chat for the number of blue balls we're gonna see today. Even though the fight just started, you can still get your guesses in. I'm just gonna go with 3 because I always like number 3.
I think that's just a good number to guess here. For
it is too, yeah. 1 blue ball.
And saltyphry is gonna head and save and quit out after completing the Skull Woods checks there. See where they head next.
So that first shot there on each cycle is guaranteed, and the next 3 shots are 50-50. So it's a question of whether it'll be a blue ball or an orb. And then after every 4 shots, you get a shot of lightning. Lightning crescendo, if you will. And there's 2 blue balls. He only needs 1 more hit. So this is either a blue ball or our 3rd. Nope. 2 blue balls is the winner today.
Alright, it looks like saltyphry is going for redemption against Cold Stare.
So the Agahnim Tower is out of the way for the lane. That's a dungeon he will not have to worry about later. And he now has... actually, does that set up a portal in the Dark World somewhere on the pyramid?
The portal is north of Dark World Link's house. So if you walk north there, just before where the bridge would be, there's just a tile now, a warp tile there now.
Ah, okay. I hadn't seen that yet because I hadn't called in all dungeons and bird yet. Good to know.
It does also give up a save and quit point directly to the entrance to Ganon's tower. So now if he save and quits in the dark world, in the light world, I believe it should drop him just in front of Ganon's tower.
So we can confirm Titan's Mists were not logically required today because the tomb only had $5 and we're robbing the king of his money, which is kind of cruel of us.
I mean, he was not much of a king, more of a pauper. Only $5, only 5 rupees to his fortune.
What kind of fortune is that?
Not much of one. So saltyphry is going to go ahead and turn in their mushroom that we've been holding on to for quite some time now.
It's not going to become powder because we already got the powder from the pedestal. For those just joining us, the powder was on the pedestal. We still... Oh my! The mushroom was crafted into a cane of Samaria.
So we are now in no mode, ladies and gentlemen. Saltyphry will have to get a hold of that mushroom, and that blind pedestal pull is now unfortunately dead. So rest in peace, pedestal. We hardly knew ye. Though I have to remember, where was that mushroom?
Hey, it was exciting to get it. And the mushroom, I don't remember where the mushroom was.
The mushroom was in
Paradox Cave, okay.
So I'd imagine Saltyphry is going to make their way here. I have to imagine Saltyphry makes their way after they clear through Ice Palace, because they haven't been in the mountain at all. Take care of Tower of Hera. And I think at this point, after he defeats Cold Stare, that's going to be where he's going to be sent logically, because there's not much checks left available to him, because he does not have yet the cane. However, I have to say the mushroom is probably the least favorable location in inverted mode.
And the lane is also going to still need the Ice Rod, which we now know was on Argus. We'll get to that eventually, but he may still do other checks before then. We may still get to see what that legendary powder will get us today, but we'll find out later.
So the lane needs to get to Argus, and Saltyphry needs to get to Paradox Cave, and then take that mushroom to the Witch. But the mushroom is probably the least favorable, but as least favorable as Catfish would be in a normal mode, just because there's no easy way to get to it. It's just so far out of the way.
The lane, meanwhile, gets followed by Kiki the Monkey and is going to head over to the Palace of Darkness and then pay off our favorite extortionist, as he now has access inside.
Alright, and Saltyphry is taking care of their second attempt at Cold Stare. Use their blue potion to get a 25% meter and that single heart back. He can take he can take one hug here from the Cold Stares, if he's careful.
He initially stayed on the top row again because he was doing the same thing, but now he's venturing out now. There's only 2 eyes left to deal with. These Krakow eyes still hurt, and he took 1 icicle. He can't take a hug anymore. Those icicles do 2 hearts of damage.
Aren't the icicles singles?
No, I just saw 2 hearts disappear. I thought it was 2. I just didn't want to correct you.
But down goes Cold Stare. He gets redemption as Thalane gets that hint of bottle above the pose, which he already picked. I don't think he picked up. I don't remember. But either way, Thalane's blazing through here. He needs to find the Ice Rod, and he has a lot of if you're looking at his tracker, he has a lot of dungeons to clear yet.
He does. 7 dungeons, and he's basically doing them now virtually. He could do them in order if he wants to. He can just head over to Swamp Palace next if he wants to stay in order. It's entirely up to him at this point.
Well, if you are a Thalane fan, you want him to hit Swamp Palace next, because Argus is where the Ice Rod is. And that'll put him in go mode.
Now, he didn't get the hint to the left side of Swamp Palace, and he could still gamble left side of Swamp Palace before going to Argus. But as a player, if I was playing, I would say it's always a good idea to do Argus first, because if you only need 1 item and that you have to clear Argus anyway, and that's your go mode item, clear Argus and then think about left side later. So that would work out well for him in this case.
What this race is really going to come down to is how long is it going to take Saltyphry to pick up his mushroom and then turn in his mushroom. As we find out, the free bottle fill is a red potion, so a single heart gain.
So if you needed hearts and you felt like spending all day throwing the bottle in for the fairy, that's a good way to get your health refilled, but it's not a very convenient one. You can just go to Stark Dark Chapel and get a free refill for $20. A full refill, I should say, for $20.
Yeah, absolutely. It should be Saltyphry going ahead and finding their not a whole lot here from King Zora. He'll find his bottle in a bottle here.
Bit of a waste of $500.
He is kind of the chaptering of it. It does leave Saltyphry up to leave that check-in, the turn-in of the mushroom for a last location. However, he has not yet been to the mountain at all. So he will. I would imagine what he'll do is he'll clear all the checkable parts of the mountain. He'll get the.
He might be going there now.
So my question is, how much of Turtle Rock does he die for the Cane of Samaria? After he finds that mushroom, I imagine he would probably take care of Tower of Hera first.
I imagine he'll do everything the lane did before coming upon, because the mushroom is up here. He's going to want to stay up here and look for the King of Samaria. He's not going to head back down and just immediately cash the mushroom, because he's not going to gamble on that mushroom while he's up here. He's going to look for everything he can on the mountain and then go do the mushroom. And it's just one of those cases where, unfortunately, the game, you don't have to double dip Tower of Hera, or you don't have to double dip Turtle Rock if you know where the cane is. But because you're playing blind, you're never going to leave the mountain without checking Turtle Rock. You're going to have to double dip Turtle Rock doing this blind every time.
Now, it does set him up for a quick clear of Turtle Rock, or a quick clear of Trinex afterward. What it does set himself up for is if he, depending on when he picks that up, the ability to, whenever he chooses to clear out the castle tower, potentially gives him a little bit of time back. But Thalane, it really depends on where Thalane heads next. As
I was just
far as
gonna
how
touch-
close this race is.
I was just going to touch on the Castle Tower part, because KS Samari at this point would be Saltyphry's go mode. Because I'm not sure if you checked Mire yet or not, but we know that Mire is Quake, and we know that he can get into Mire. So the King of Samaria is his go mode, and all he has to do is find that King of Samaria. Once he finds that King of Samaria, he knows he can do Turtle Rock last. He knows he can do the boss. That would be the Trinex. Walk right over to Agahnim's Tower at the Ganon's Tower location, finish it, warp right over to Ganon's Tower in the Light World in the Agahnim Tower location, do that, and go right to the pyramid, and go right to Ganon right outside the entrance. So he can do Turtle Rock last in terms of the dungeons in that case, as long as he's already done all the pendants. Yeah, so he can do it last.
I definitely think how tight this race ends up being really comes down to how long until we get how long until Thalane makes their way to Argus. If they're following the order of dungeons as they're listed here, he's going to be in a really good state.
So he does get the Light World checks done on Death Mountain. He's going to go back to the Dark World now. And he will eventually find his way to the Paradox Cave. He will eventually get his mushroom. While he's getting his mushroom, the lane is going to be fighting Palace of Darkness, Helmusar King. So it's time for Fight Night in Pod, round 2. Fight!
Saltyphry has to be careful there. Those Lionels are jerks.
Oh, they are definitely jerks. They don't take damage from the Master Sword either, so you can't just rush through them. They will be absolutely nasty to you.
It leads me to question just how good is this Sword of Evil's Bane if it doesn't do much to most of the enemies in the game?
That is a question I don't have an answer to.
There was another commentator I went with who had an explanation of it. It is a great sword, however, it was left just kind of left abandoned in the woods for an unknown amount of time, so it probably needs to be cleaned up a bit.
Which is why it gets turned into a Temper Sword, and then that gets planted back in the rock.
Alright, so Thalane going back to the house. We'll see if they make their way to Swamp Palace. If you're a Thalane fan, and if you want to send them to the round of 8, you're hoping that this is they're heading to Swamp, and they're heading that direction indeed.
It's that or Rice, and I think it's Swamp.
Alright, so once Thalane clears Argus, they will find their way into Go Mode as Saltyphry is heading into the Light World at Turtle Rock.
And these hammer pegs were all added to make the hammer still required to get to the Light World.
So he's going to go ahead and check out the shovel spot we have not yet seen.
Check the bridge, $300 there. The island, I should say, which now has a bridge.
As that ferry is just not cooperating with Saltyphry.
Come here, lovely.
Then we find $5.
He's heading to Tower
for
Hera. He's heading to
Definitely.
Tower Hera next.
Has he? And he has not yet been to the Light World checks. What I'm thinking he may do is clear Tower of Hera, then drop back down the mountain, take care of Paradox Cave, and then Super Money.
That's exactly what he's going to do.
And then finish this whole loop with Castle Tower, if he can't clear Turtle Rock.
The lane used the mirror to go to the Light World or Dark World, realized he still needs to pull the water out, so waits for the portal to take him back, and is going to do the dam right now so he can go to Swamp Palace. And this is where he will be going into Go Mode.
Just has to make his way to the Argus fight.
Now, like I said, you in this case, because he only needs one item and you have to defeat Argus anyway, it would make more sense only needing one item to go to Argus. if you go the left side and you don't find anything, you're wasting your time anyway. And my logic is if you do that first, you're going to waste time to get nothing. If Argus turns out to have your item, and that's the logic behind that, why you do Argus first, because you have to defeat Argus even if the item is on the left side. So do it first and see, check left side later if you don't find anything.
That's definitely a good talking point on that, and something that most runners of this caliber, you'll see they'll just dive toward that boss and hope for the best. And in Thalane's case, it's going to be the best.
It will definitely be the best. So saltyphry getting his big key to head upstairs. We knew that was there already.
And Thalane's gonna go ahead and move some water in Swamp Palace.
The water has been moved.
I dislike hard hit beetles.
And they fall in the hole and the door opens.
Feels good. What doesn't feel good is taking damage while falling down the hole, which is one of the few negative bugs to the 1.0 version that the randomizer is based upon.
And saltyphry gets another thanks game. Gets his net.
Thalane picking up their big key here, and I mentioned they'll probably just check the big key chest right away.
Why not?
And they're heading back to Argus. So Thalane will make their way back to Argus and pick up their ice rod and find their go mode. If you're a saltyphry fan and if you want to watch a game 3 between these two, you need him to pick up that mushroom and take it immediately back to the witch to pick up his cane of Samaria.
And we know this is the more logical and the correct play to make based on what I mentioned earlier, but as we said, we know just also from watching the seed that what I said is not related to where items are located. It just turns out that that's the more logical play, and it turns out it's going to be the right play in both cases. In both ways. So saltyphry picking up dungeon number 8, crystal number 5. He's going to do the checks on Light World Death Mountain now. Paradox Cave will be getting checked out. We will find the mushroom. He may do Super Buddy Cave while he's up here. He may go back and do Turtle Rock, but he can anyway. And then he's going to head down. He's going to think, what's this mushroom do? He's going to find the Cave of Samari. He's going to be off for Mr. Myra to finish that before coming back up. I think that's the road he's going to take at this point.
But he's going into Turtle Rock first.
Doing Turtle Rock first. Interesting.
Well, he can finish his way out and then drop down the mountain and make his way back up.
Yep, that probably makes more sense too.
Rounding the mountain in inverted mode is fun? Question mark?
Double question mark.
There are so many different ways to go about it, and none of them feel good at all. And Thalane is going off a really great Argus fight, taking out 2 Argus at a time.
I was gonna say he's taking 2 of those Argai off at the same time and spin slashing both of them at once in one shot. That's a beautiful Argus play right there.
Setting up the quick kill too. Ooh, just
didn't get it.
And down goes Argus. What a great fight. And at 1 hour, 27 minutes, and 33 seconds, Thalane has entered Go Mode.
Go Mode!
They do so now between here and now, Thalane has to clear through 5 more dungeons and Ganon's tower and the Ganon fight. He'll have to clear through the dungeons first.
And
he's already taken care of the castle tower, which is on the mountains. That's one thing we'll do. As saltyphry picks up their mushroom, which is their key to go mode, but they just need to turn that thing in.
I was gonna say a couple of those dungeons that Thalane has to clear are really lengthy dungeons as well. Ice Palace takes a while to go through. He has to go and get Redemption on Blind. That should be a quick stop to get Blind down later.
Thalane only has to run back to Cold Stare. He doesn't have to do any of the puzzles.
It's still a long walk back there.
Yes.
So yeah, I forgot that he did tried the fight as well. I forgot that he lost that fight too.
He didn't actually fight Cold Stare. He just did everything up until that point.
Yeah, exactly. I forgot that he did a lot of that. So Yeah, that's at least 2. He can go straight to the boss. Misery Mire, he just has to find the big key and he's off. Saltyphry still has to Misery Mire as well, so no time lost there. The lane's doing Misery Mire first, which I find interesting. He's gonna see if he can get a God Mire right out of the
closest to.
Yeah, it is. He's gonna try and get God Mire out of the gate. I don't think we have Swamp Palace marked on our tracker yet. We'll get that fixed there because the lane did finish Swamp Palace. He does have his Ice Rod.
And that was a beautiful clear of that room.
It was a nice Argus. Yeah, it was a nice. If you're talking about the Argus kill, or you're talking about the room in
the first room of Mire, which is just I love.
Yeah, that was nice. That was nice.
There's just so many enemies in the room, and they all have 1 HP. So it's just like, what is the quickest way to get all these things out of your way?
So here's where we find out whether it's a God Mire. If there's a big key on this bridge, we're off to Vidi. We're off to Vidi. And it turns out that we're not off to Vidi. We have Flute.
And that thing is just going to sit, and I do not see our runners activating that Flute at this point.
Not at this point, no.
There is no reason for them to head back into the village at all.
Swag Deck Airlines will stay closed today.
But it is entertaining in Inverted Seed, finding the key for Misery Mire in Normal Seed in Misery Mire. And Saltyphry getting bullied by those laser beams there, picking up their big key for Turtle Rock here. So right now, it really comes down to how many dungeons can Thalane clear before Saltyphry turns in his mushroom.
A lot of them, like we were saying, were quick clears. These
Misery Mire, however, is not proving to be one.
It's not proving to be one, but at least Saltyphry still has to do Misery Mire as well, so he's going to have the same problem that Thalane is right now. So that's going to be the same for both runners. Turtle Rock, obviously Thalane can go clear that whenever he wants to now. So the other ones are just pretty much go fight the boss, quick clears. He just has to make his way to the boss and he's done. So he could be done all these dungeons in about, with the exception of this really long, gosh awful mire. These other ones could be done in about 6 minutes probably.
Saltyphry manages to sneak the map away from those chain chomps.
And then gets bit. But that was intentional.
Yeah, I was gonna say, at that point, he has nothing left to do here but check this big chest. To find 20 bucks. Actually, you can still check the roller room.
So the lane is going to check the cutscene chest. I don't know if he checked the northern room there yet, but he's going to do the cutscene chest right now. And he's going to find out whether... Actually, this might be the only... No, it can still be on the right side, I guess. But most likely this is where the big key is at this point.
Alright, Saltyphry finding out he just wasted some time here in Turtle Rock. Where will he head next?
So did the lane, so that's fine. So is he gonna head over to the witch right now to get the mushroom train in, or is he gonna go somewhere else first? He can't do either dungeon without the cane.
He's gonna knock out Aga 1. I imagine at this point he climbs for Aga. I don't know.
I wouldn't take out Aga 1 right now. I honestly wouldn't. I wouldn't. Because you can just go right over there from Turtle Rock when you're done. There's no point doing Aga 1 right now.
I wouldn't. It's like you could do Turtle Rock into Aga 1 and just drop him immediately in front of GT.
That's exactly it. You would do Turtle Rock, then Aga 1. If you're doing Aga 1 now, you're going to have to...
Spiral Cave.
Oh, he's doing Spiral Cave. Good. That's me too. Whew!
And he would still have Spike Cave as well.
But will he check
That's another climb up the mountain. Death Mountain is not fun in inverted mode.
Not at all.
I can't. I probably say that too much, but it just frustrates me.
Even in regular mode, they're gonna have so many chests you have to jump down the mountain for. It's like, do I want to waste time for this one check? So right, even in regular mode,
saving quitting back to the mountain. He's going Spike Cave next, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. He's going to Spike Cave. At least in this case, it's simple enough climb because you start in Dark World. You don't have to make your way over here. So you can just rush up with the speed climb and speed dash, and he's able to go right into Spike Cave. Right? No.
Aga 1.
No, I don't like this play.
He's figured I'm here. I'll just get it done. Or you know what he could have in his mind here is, well, I'm going to clear this now because what if it's a lumberjack? Because no one has checked that for this entire game.
No, one runner did. I think it was Money.
I don't remember.
I think the lane checked it.
And I know one of them checked bumper ledges. The lane's dealing with the Vitreous fight, which I would have to think is probably the hardest boss fight in expert mode. So we can't use the cape to easy boost our way through the goo. Master Sword doesn't do a whole lot to these eyeballs. They take 3 arrows apiece. He does not have enough arrows to finish the boss. And down goes Vitreous for thalane. Alright, and that is dungeon number 6 for thalane. Still needs to what's left in front of him in here is he needs to go to the boss of Ice Palace, Thieves Town, and Turtle Rock. Because he's already cleared all of those dungeons up into the point of killing the boss. And then there's Skullwoods he'll also have to complete, which is just running straight to the boss.
Okay, so the lane has gone back to his house, which again is in the Dark World, coming out in the Dark World. Saltyphry making his way to the top of Egg 1 right now and is going to push the guard in the pit, climb up the stairs, and we're going to have our second blue ball fight. We know it's 2 blue balls, so we're going to have 8 cycles of orb/blue ball hits, plus lightning, and that'll be the fight for him.
Both our runners did clear Thieves Town up until blind, I believe.
They both died to blind.
Yeah, they both died to blind. And that was really early in this seed. So all thalane has in front of him is 4 walks to the boss. He has to walk to Cold Stare. He has to walk to Mothula. He has to walk to blind, and he has to walk straight to Trinex from the laser bridge. It really comes down to how long does it take Saltyphry to make his way over to the witch. Though there's not many locations left open for that where that Cane of Samaria could be hiding.
Yeah, Saltyphry needs to go to the witch quickly, I would say. If he doesn't do it quickly, then the lane will be completely caught up. And it's going to be a matter of just getting the win at that point. So this can still be a close race, but he has to do witch very quickly. Saltyphry does.
And this should be his last shot.
And
Right,
Saltyphry still has 2 Misery Mire as well. We know that big key is deep in Misery Mire today.
Alright, Saltyphry, make your way to the witch. It looks like he's heading the right direction.
Perhaps? No.
But I don't think he's checked King's Tomb yet.
This would make sense then. But he's going to Kakariko.
Oh, yeah.
No, he's going through... this is a screen that I've seen for people call NMG screen, because you only see this screen NMG, just like Random Room you only see in...
He's going ahead and just gonna bonk his way into Lumberjack.
So he is going to check Lumberjack. Okay, he had not actually checked it. I know Saltyphry did not check Lumberjack. It is just $5 there, so he will find that out very shortly, and then I suspect he will be... He thought it was in Lumberjack, and that's why he did Agahnim then. That was the reason for his routing there. So there's his $5, and go to the witch.
Well, he will probably check King's Tomb on the way.
He will, probably.
He's heading the right direction here as thalane is making the way through Ice Palace here. And he's going to go ahead and take on his Cold Stare fight. Takes a hit from a bar. He didn't want to do that.
5 hearts is enough for a Cold Stare fight, but will he be able to avoid both the ice and a hug, which would be enough to kill him?
Cold Stare Hug's doing 4 hearts of damage. And saltyphry getting the bad news of $5. saltyphry, continue going east.
Eastward, young soldier. He's continuing east.
And he has dropped in. He's
in the
over
water.
the witch.
He's doing the witch. This is still a race.
And one little bit of advantage that Thalane had is he was able to use the Bombos medallion to open up the Cold Stare. And had a few more Fire Rod shots to play with. Alright, in goes the mushroom from saltyphry.
Okay, he's heading into the hut right now. And at 1 hour, 39 minutes, and 24 seconds, saltyphry is in go mode.
We're going down to the wire here, folks. He has a Misery Mire. He has to clear through Misery Mire. We have a deeply hidden big key there as the lane takes down the Cold Stare without issue. He has to walk back to Mothula, Trinex, and Blind, while saltyphry needs to clear through Misery Mire and walk straight to Trinex. Both of them already having cleared Aga 1, so this will be entertaining. We will probably have to start the bit there. I know we have a game coming up. We'll start a little bit earlier because he will just be instantaneous from the end of the boss to enter Ganon's tower.
Yeah, pretty much might be at this point. But actually, I don't think it'll be instantaneous because they've already both cleared Aga. But we'll figure out when to start the game when we see one of them on the 7th dungeon, and we will start that game when we start the game. And don't enter your numbers yet because we haven't started the game yet.
Probably have to start it as soon as he starts the last boss fight, because you can save and quit and you will instantly be there at Ganon's tower.
Oh yeah, that is true, I guess. Okay. Yeah, he does have that opened up because, yeah.
Alright, so saltyphry is running away back to Trinex now.
So, the lane has... He's doing Turtle Rock first right now. Okay. And saltyphry is already in there. So they're both getting Turtle Rock out of the way right now. They're both getting Trinex out of the way now. And not too far apart doing that. So now it's going to be a case of the lane just walking back and walloping blind. And then going over to Skull Woods while saltyphry is trying to find the big key in Misery Mire. So this, ladies and gentlemen, could be a very, very close race. This could be like a minute or two apart by the time.
But the lane still has to. The lane still has 2 more bosses. Has 2 more bosses. He has to clear.
But they're both quick bosses to get to. They're both
True.
very quick bosses to get to. saltyphry has to find the big key. This is going to come down to probably about a minute or two.
This is going to be a lot of fun, folks. We have quite a race for you. I would definitely show these runners some support with a Twitch follow if you have not already. Links are in the chat. We're coming on down. saltyphry has burned down both the heads. We're into the 3rd phase. No quick kills is truly available. He's rolling down to Master Sword, but gets that double hit no problem. Opts for the hammer.
And taking the shots with the Ice Rod right now. The lane is. saltyphry has taken out the turtle. Turtle is down. And the lane just taking out the 2nd head. The tail wagging very, very mightily. And still wagging very mightily as the 2nd head dies. Turtle hides in the shell. The lane's turtle is coming out. Trinex will be dead very soon. And gone for good on both sides. saltyphry does have his crystal from Trinex. He is down to 1 dungeon. He is off to Misery Mire, and that's going to put him close to finishing the game. He just has to find that big key. I think we'll start the big key game when saltyphry finds his big key. That seems to be the best, or at least when he gets too close to Vitreous. That might be the best course of action here.
And of course, one thing that we could note is this could definitely come down to Ganon's tower routing. Because we are going to be close entering Ganon's tower at this point.
We will be. Left side, right side could call the race.
And Cat bringing up a good point that Vitreous is probably one of the slowest fights on expert mode right now.
And the lane already got that done. It pays for his health refill, and he heads out. The lane is heading down to most likely Turtle Rock first, but he might choose to do Swamp first, or Skull Woods first. Did I say Swamp? I meant Thieves Town.
Both runners are in go mode here. We just have a few more bosses to take care of.
So he is doing Thieves first. Gonna get revenge on Blind. Blind's already in the room. Saltyphry is gonna start his big key hunt. I actually think the lane might be the first to gain his tower, just because bosses are quick kills for him. He might be the first to gain his tower. This big key is not God mode today for Saltyphry, unless he somehow gambles on the right side and finds it right away. In which case, we'll probably be seconds apart.
We are going to... This is a very close race, folks. We're just going through it now. This room is running a little bit slower for Saltyphry than it did for thalane.
Yeah, the lane did this perfectly. The lane was the champion of the German tournament, and he is showing why he was the champion of the German tournament.
Alright, thalane is down with that one. He's heading up to Skull Woods next. Try to set up and then
go ahead.
Super speed there. Not a common setup.
Saltyphry gets his toot, and he's not going to be activating it. He's going to be continually looking for the big key. He will check the skull or the spike chest to the right of here. Well, next room down, I guess, to the right of that. Well, maybe not. Maybe he's not checking that chest. He's going to the... Oh, he's actually going to the left side. Wow. This is actually a really good play from him.
This is going to put him closer to where he needs to go.
If he's going to probably go up first because it's closer. Yep, and then he's going to go down. He's going to probably do cutscene chest next. I can't see him not going down while he's here. No, he's going right. Oh, I lied.
That's unfortunate. So I'm thinking we should start it as soon as one of these guys gets to their boss fight. Because it's a save and quit.
I'll handle the start point. I'll go ahead and I'll do that when I feel, but yeah, okay. We're going to be starting it very, very shortly. For those watching on our VOD on YouTube after the fact, by the way, this game that we're going to be playing is something we do live in Twitch chat, so we're kind of talking about something you're not seeing right now. Apologies for that. This is a, why don't you come by and watch, check our schedule at speedgaming.org/ALTTPR, look for a live race, and come join us in chat. You can play with us sometime.
It would be quite a lot of fun.
So I'm going to go ahead and start that game in just a second here as the lane is dropping into the Mothula fight. So ladies and gentlemen, get your big key guesses in chat for the big key guessing game. 122, chest location, Ganon's Tower.
Alright, so Cyclone, I go 17 because I just like the number. What are you thinking?
It's always 11 because, you know, always.
Alright, and down goes Mothula. Now get your guesses in quickly, chat, because all he has to do now after finishing the crystal animation is save and quit, and he's going to be at Ganon's Tower. So rush those guesses in, folks. 1 through 22, what do you got? Where's Ganon? Where is the big key hiding? And suddenly, thalane finds themselves in the lead.
Yeah, he is definitely in the lead now. Saltyphry doing the cutscene now. He's going to get the big key. He still has to fight Viddy. But it could still come to left side, right side. This is not over, ladies and gentlemen. This is not over yet.
He will have to gain access to the light world, so it's not quite the quick save and quit.
No, he has to get to the light world to do the save and quit. That's right.
But he can just, at this point, he can just walk straight up. Or he could have just walked straight up. Because that portal's there.
Saltyphry just has to get to the boss. Here he goes into the key door right now. And the lane can just save and quit, or he can go for a walk, which is what he's doing. Save and quit would be quicker at this point.
A curious little bit of, and it's just... Or I think, I understand where he's going with this. He wants to preserve... Yeah, he's preserving his full health.
Exactly. He wants his health.
It'd be different if he was on Death Mountain.
Yeah.
Last chance to get him in. It's spinning.
And I'll go ahead and I'll end the game in just a moment. So if you're hearing this now, it's probably too late. Our game will now be closed. And good luck, everyone, with the key. Guess it.
All right, folks, here we go. First chest, small key. Chest number 2, the map. And he's going right
2
side.
down. So this could be the race right here. If the big key is on the right side and if saltyphry goes left and it's not in Tower Room, this race just got a lot closer.
Makes his way through that room without problem. Gonna have to take care of this next room here. Gibdos are annoying, but he managed to make it through without
They're
getting
very
much
annoying. Very.
through without a hit. All right.
Well, saltyphry is still having difficulty with the
20 for
vitreous
number
fight
3.
there.
4 for small piece of heart. 5 a bean a bottle.
No
6
big
the compass.
key. And saltyphry takes a death. Oh, that's going to cost him the race, I think.
That
Oh,
is a
no.
huge. There is a lot of execution up ahead. We still have a Master Sword Ganon fight. A Master Sword Green Male Ganon fight. All right, and that is number 7 there. That is just 10 arrows on Bob's torch. Bob lives.
Bob will live.
That death may have just cost him the race, but there's still a lot of execution up
There's
ahead.
still a lot of execution, but I don't see someone of the lane's caliber losing that fight. He, like I said, he won the German tournament for a reason. He's a good player of the game, and I don't see him losing that fight. But again, you never know. He could have a bad fight.
And 8, 9, 10, and 11 are 2 monies and 2 keys, so we're still going on.
Still looking for that big key, and if you guess anything from 1 to 11, sorry, you lose.
Number 12, 10 arrows.
Of course, my 11 is usually in a random room. I'm not used to this route.
Hey, I'm still holding alive here. I've got 5 away. All right, we're heading into the randomizer room now.
No, we're in the fire snake
Momentarily.
room.
After the fire snakes. I got ahead of myself. I'm just so excited. This is such a race. 13, 20 bucks. We're going on. Right, into the randomizer room we go. 4 more checks here to be found. Called randomizer room because there's no other reason to be here unless you're right. 14 magic cape.
We have our
15
cape.
heart. 16 for the rupees. 17 3 bombs.
Oh, no big key yet.
I was really hoping I'd finally get it right.
And this, by the way, saltyphry still has to do all this big key searching too. So what you're seeing right now is exactly what saltyphry is going to be looking through. The question is, will he do the ones on the right first, or could it be in Tower Room?
And saltyphry going for some gutsy strats there, just carving through those eyeballs and hoping he doesn't die. But 8 arrows to Vitreous and he's going to be down.
Go ahead.
You go ahead.
I'm wondering if saltyphry will do the Tower Room gamble if because he knows he took that death on Vidi and he knew he was in go mode. He might think he's behind and needs to do something to gamble in case he has already lost doing conventional play. He might gamble Tower Room. I wonder if he will.
All right, 18 bombs. Run down to Ice Armos. That I have to give my hat off to saltyphry there. That was a ballsy quick kill.
Oh, the guy turned red anyway. Okay, 19 to 21. 19 is the vanilla big key chest. It's a small key today. 20 is 20
It's
bucks.
Tile Room.
21. It's in Tile Room. If saltyphry gambles Tile Room, we have a close race. He's going all left, complete left side. Oh.
That's also another gamble.
It is.
All right, so if you were the first to guess 22, congratulations. We'll find that who that is in a moment.
It's going very fast. It's Imbalanced is our winner today. So as our winner of the Big Key guessing game, you get a tile from the tile room as your prize. Note, delivery charge applies, and taxes and fees not extra.
Not only that, but it should be safe for a spot on the tournament leaderboard. I wonder where that puts him.
It is.
Don't see them on there yet, but look at that with 12 wins from Kinghorn. Must be watching a lot of races. But thank you all for watching.
A lot.
And thank you for all those who were eligible to play for that game who either subbed to Speed Gaming or give a donation of 250 bits or more to any of the Speed Gaming Network channels, helping keep the lights on so we can have fun here in saltyphry.
Oh, he's doing the Dark Magician strats.
And he walked past where he needed to go.
He walked right past where he needed to go. Oh.
Right, so the race is definitely in Thalane's hands. A Ganon fall could give a bit more time back. It is not going to be an easy Ganon fight. He will be able to a single Ganon hug or 2 hits from anything else will send Thalane down to the graveyard.
It's worth noting that Thalane also picked the seed type for this race. Next race will be saltyphry's pick, and having picked this, this is a mode that he felt comfortable doing. Perhaps he didn't feel saltyphry would be as comfortable doing this mode as he is. So he is playing a very difficult seed type, which tells me he's comfortable doing this Ganon fight. So we'll see what happens, but at this point, I would say it's Thalane's race to lose.
And if Thalane does clear through this, that would put them against the winner of Galan and Jet.
Yes. And actually, I forgot this game too. Yeah, the first race was saltyphry's to pick.
So Thalane won game 1. If this result holds, he would advance to the round of 8.
Yes.
Saltyphry needs a big gaff on Thalane's side to really give them a spot in this race.
Yeah, it would take a Ganon fall or 2 at this point to have an opportunity, I think. And the lane is good on health. I think he's going to have no problem getting through the rest of Aghnim's tower. The question will be what happens in the Ganon fight, because I don't think you get a health refill coming out of here.
Saltyphry's going to head in a randomized room, going to get more bad news that they needed to go back to tile room. And if you're in Saltyphry's shoes, you having not found the key yet, you have to feel, if you have not seeing a dot done, you feel in a really bad spot. But this was an impeccable race, having Saltyphry basically feeling at least visually in the lead for most of this race, but
Indeed.
Execution coming up big on Thalane's side. A few extra deaths that Saltyphry took that Thalane did not, proving here though, Thalane will have to be careful here. If they miss this fire rod shot, they're done.
Well, he got the fire rod shot. And magic refill in here.
Masterfully making sure not to take a laser shot there.
And trying to avoid the Ganon's tower despawn glitch. If you go upstairs on the exact frame that the door closes, you would despawn all the sprites in Ganon's tower and have to start it over. He would still be ahead in such a case, but you don't want that to happen ever. Saltyphry did hit the Bob torch, by the way. Bob seems to be not in his room.
So lamp dash is indeed a thing. You can dash with any item. Book dash is one of the more interesting ones. Causes Link to do some entertaining things.
Saltyphry having some trouble with Armos on ice. Finally gets him down, and the lane hook shots and opens the final chest to get some blueberries. I'm sure that was
arrows.
That was a snack for Moldorm later, I think, too, those blueberries.
Takes a hit from Helmasaur here, so he has a few less hearts heading into his second required geometry test of the evening.
And phase 1 of the geometry test is 1 hit. This looks like a double. Yep. This should be a... Oh no, you didn't get a single hit. Ooh, I expected at least 1 or 2 on that one. This should be a double or a triple. That's a triple.
Alright, down goes the wizard, and we have unleashed the king of all bacon himself. We have quite a few Master Sword spins we're gonna have to land here into the big pig.
All hail the bacon bat. And ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the big pig. Now, it would take a fault again from the lane at this point for saltyphry to have an opportunity to get back in the race. And with 4.5 hearts, it could happen. We're getting burrito discussions from Ganon today, which begs the question, chat, what kind of burrito would you be today if you were a burrito?
I'm probably going to be steak, but the barbacoa is good.
I'd probably be bacon and cheese, like the Baconator.
Now I'm hungry.
Thank you. Now I am too. Now I have to go to fast food later. Why did I do that to myself?
I'm breaking those New Year's resolutions early here as thalane takes a hit here. Any more damage in this fight will send him back.
Yeah, 1 more hit of anything, only half a heart. Anything will kill him. This will slow down his fight significantly, and he's gonna
nice.
have to hook shot carefully.
There.
Good hook shot.
Dodging those bats.
Good hook shot. Good hook shotting.
He did not get the hit there.
No, he didn't.
By that must have been by,
one
by
there.
a pixel.
He got 1 hit.
Excellent use of the hook shot here by thalane, really showing off the strength.
He's rushing to get in 2 hits because he lost that other hit, so he got both hits. That's the 3rd hit. That might be enough.
In the next phase now.
That might be enough.
No.
Oh, it is. Yeah, he does need 1 more. You're right. We got 2 in. That should do it.
Alright, now we're into phase 3. Now, if Ganon would just hold still, please.
Ganon, stop warping.
Just accept this.
Your fate is imminent.
Spin number 2 for thalane.
And the lane is just needs Ganon to stop warping.
1 more spin here. 1 more spin here. 1 more spin here.
Saltyphry is working his way through Landmolo's. Ganon finally stops warping.
Did we find the arrows in the dark world? You betcha. Here, have a couple. And thalane does remember to turn them on. Gets both the hits. Gets the torch glitch.
Got the torch glitch. Very nice. So only got 1 hit there, so needs 3 more. Might try. No, he can't set up anything on that.
Missed the shot.
Oh, he missed the shot. Oh.
I think he got both of those first arrows.
I don't think he did. We're gonna find out when he gets
right now.
Shots either way.
And down goes the big pig. The pig explodes. The fanfare plays. Well, 1 by 3 bridge is all what stands between thalane and advancement to the round of 8. Get your GGs in chat, folk. That was a great race, and I can now pronounce that thalane has finished this race in first place with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 2 minutes, and 50 seconds. GGs. Wow.
Hello, will you be my friend? Says the Triforce.
Yes, Triforce. Thalane will be your friend. He's finished this race and has to feel really good finishing that out. What a strong execution display by thalane here today.
And finishing the Ganon fight on half a heart. That phase 2 was scary with half a heart. So that shows you, like I said, he did not win that German tournament by accident. He's in the top 8 officially now of this fall 2018 Link to the Past global tournament, if you will. and proving that he belongs in the top 8 with that very well executed Ganon fight. So welcome to the top 8, and we'll see if we can get him in here to chat with us.
And it looks like he's already done so. So, Thalane, congratulations, GG, and holy crap, that was amazing.
And welcome to the top 8.
Thank you very much.
So, I guess the first thing that I ask you is take me through your how you're feeling during that Ganon fight on half of heart for most of it.
Yeah, so I was kind of miscounting. Thought I had 12 spins in already, but it was 11, so I waited for that trident to spin so I can, start spinning in the good position, like on top left, to get like the double hits in. Was hoping to get like 8 in or something, but then the trident came flying at me. I was like, okay, that's kind of unexpected. So yeah, and that ended up me being on half a heart, and then I got kind of scared, didn't use the top right corner as I could have. So that was kind of a very slow and painful phase 2, but yeah, it worked out, so yeah.
All right, so I want to go back, harken back to when you found your ice rod for go mode and still had 6 to 7 dungeons ahead of you. How did you feel you were doing as far as the race goes overall?
I didn't feel ahead or behind. It was going okay, I think. So the early and mid game was kind of good in my opinion, and then Ice Rod and Kane took me a while to get. Then I full cleared all of Death Mountain, but I feel like almost everyone would have done the same decision, because there's like, you could have almost full cleared everything like minus T-Rock. So I was kind of hoping to get at least one of the 2 items up there, but then there was like, I think only Bugnet that we got up there, maybe the mushroom that led to Kane. So yeah, that was kind of disappointing. And
yeah, the mushroom was in the Paradox Cave, which led to the Kane there.
Bugnet was Tower Hera Big Chest.
Yeah, so other than that, I think like the Death in Thief's Town, that cost me like, what, a minute maybe, because you can get to blind like relatively quick again.
And saltyphry unfortunately taking a Ganon death there.
And also that save and quit out of Ice Palace, I think that was probably a good decision on my end. Oh my god. Because we had what, like 4 hearts and no sword, so I'm kind of like I'm kind of positive that I would not have made that Cold Step fight.
Saltyphry did attempt it and almost got one of the puffs down.
Now I want to just know, when you watch this back, you're going to notice that Saltyphry got out to a very early dungeon lead, so you probably will enjoy watching this back, seeing that you literally came from behind, and we were watching you do 5 dungeons while he only had like 2 left, trying to find that King of Samaria and the big key in Misery Mire. He also had a couple of execution deaths in the dungeons, in some of the bosses in the late game as well. So in those last set of dungeons, were you at some point thinking he has to be finishing soon? He has to be close to done? Were you looking for that done in the chat?
Not really. Like I said, I was like not feeling ahead or behind, like neither of those. So I just did my thing and, kind of was concentrating on my game and not too much worrying about what's going on, because I feel like the more you do that, the worse you play. So I just try to focus on my game and do my thing, and not get too emotional, I guess.
It definitely plays to put. There's so much of playing toward your opponent and just trying to focus on playing your game. It definitely speaks to maybe your mentality overall. Is that something you typically stick to do, is to just play your game and not try to watch the clock?
Not always. I try to do it, but sometimes, of course, if you like last location something, it's not easy to be like, oh well, maybe my opponent did the same. You always feel like really bad about that. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Today it kind of worked so that I could concentrate on my game. Maybe next time it doesn't.
Okay, we're gonna hold off for a second. I think saltyphry is gonna be finished soon. He's on silver bacon phase right now. Didn't get the torch glitch. Is just trying to get the silver arrows into the pig right now, and there is the last hit. So saltyphry is now going to finish the race. He also has a 3x1 bridge to cross before the Triforce becomes his friend. And we're just going to wait for him to cross that bridge here for just a moment, and I will give you his official SRL time. He finishes in second place with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 9 minutes, and 1 second. Get your GGs in chat for saltyphry right now.
Definitely well earned. That was just a insane race. Just how quickly that goes through, and it appears that we have now been joined in the chat by saltyphry. GGs to you. What a race!
Thank you, GG.
Hey, GG, man.
All right, so going through when you finally pulled your mushroom and got your cane of Samaria, how did you think you felt for the race? Like, did you feel ahead, behind?
It was kind of in between, right? Like, it felt like I could be ahead, could be behind. Like, in expert, you never really know, right? Like, I had a few deaths at that point in time, like the one to blind, the one to cold stare. Those two there they didn't really bother me that much, because I mean, 3 hearts and green mail with no sword. I mean, those ones are kind of toss-ups as they are. The one that kind of bothered me a little bit was the one. That one I could have done maybe without. I would have felt a little better without that one. But again, you never really know in expert mode, right? Because especially when you're starting with that much. And I felt like I took a pretty good route off the bat. Like normally I would go left at the start after doing Hype Cave and go towards digging game and whatnot. But I had gotten those flippers and I had the mitts, and I'm like, let's go see what's on Pyramid and Catfish at this point in time. Like, maybe there's a sword over there, maybe there's a hammer, and then when I end up in Thieves Town eventually, that'll give me a weapon to actually get through there or something like that, was kind of what I was thinking. And that ended up actually working out really well that way. So because of that, I felt like I was probably in decent shape, but at the same time, it took forever to finally find that cane. Like, I took forever to go up to Death Mountain. So I was kind of shocked when I didn't actually get the cane up there. Like, obviously the mushroom was up there that led to the cane, but like, I went up there expecting to find the cane like sometime fairly early up there and just kind of be in go mode. So once that kind of started happening, then I started to get a little more concerned maybe. But that was what it was. Either way, I had fun.
Yeah, the way that seed was set up, it was a case where blind road, and you're gonna double dip Turtle Rock probably almost 100% of the time. If you found that mushroom on Turtle Rock on Paradox Cave and you left the mountain to go see what that mushroom was, that would be one of those miraculous plays you make, because there's no way you leave Death Mountain without checking Turtle Rock in that scene.
Unless you're somehow up there without the mirror at that point in time. Or
Yeah.
I guess that wasn't. Well, I guess it could have been possibly. Yeah, you could have got the book and got the mitts from Desert somehow, some way, maybe without getting the mirror in. Somehow without getting the mirror in Kakariko. I don't know. It could happen.
But wasn't mirror and lamp in like the same room?
Yeah, the mirror and lamp.
Yeah,
are the
they
same
were.
room.
So maybe, like, if your sequence broke up there, maybe, but other than that, I think if you go by logic, there's like no way you would not have checked T-Rock.
Yeah, that's very true. Well, early on, I was seriously considering sequence breaking up there, just maybe to find a sword, maybe find another piece of heart or something like that, because like I did get the hook shot off the pyramid pretty early, so I was thinking, that's 6 checks up there that could have something reasonable like that, but I just kept putting it off, and I never ended up heading up there until like I pretty much cleared all of the overworld before I finally went out to Death Mountain. I think other maybe a couple little things.
I think it kind of went the same for me, actually. Maybe like one spot here and there that was like still open, but other than that, like my 99% of my map is like gray at this point.
Yeah, like especially when I find the flippers are there, I kind of like the flippers in inverted, because the whirlpools allow me to kind of route a little more smoothly. I find I can just kind of whirlpool from one area to another, since in the light world there isn't exactly a great way to get around sometimes, since obviously you don't have the flute like you do in normal mode. So I find the whirlpools to be quite useful for.
Speaking of flute, any feelings toward that location being inside Mire? I just find that amusing.
I thought it was funny.
Yeah, it was definitely good for a laugh. Did you happen to go in there and get that before you got the cane by chance, or no?
No, I did all of the desert area minus Misery Mire, and then came back when I had cane. Like, I even forgot to check the medallion when I was over there, so that was kind of not good, but it worked out because we got like, at least I got like all medallions right after that.
Yeah, the Quake was on the library, and the rest were in Paradox, or at least on the mountain.
Yeah, by the time I got those last two, I didn't even need them, obviously. It would have been nice to have Bombos before I went back to Cold Stare or something like that, but other than that, it is what it. And yeah,
And-
it was really no reason I felt like to go into Mire, especially for me at that point in time, because I went over to Desert fairly early, I think, and I had a bunch of other stuff on the go, so there was really no reason to just go for those 2 checks in Mire without the cane at that point.
Another thing that was good for a laugh was the boots hint right next to the big key on the torch. Thanks for telling us where to find the item we need to get this key off the torch.
That was a mind-breaking moment.
I didn't even notice because I had the boots already, so I was just kind of reading that. Yep, I have them, and then went on.
Yeah, we got a good chuckle out of that ourselves in the booth.
Yeah, it feels like that happens more often than it probably should on that one. I don't know, maybe it's just me with confirmation bias or something like that, and you always seem to remember when it's in that one location specifically, since you need the boots right there. But speaking of hints, the hint I got right before going into Swamp was very nice, since I was over in the Ice Rod Cave area there, and I got the hint about left side Swamp, because I was planning on going into making my way down into Swamp regardless, and then I get that, I'm like, oh, that's beautiful, because like I was kind of debating on like, am I going to go do the left side when I'm in there or not at that point in time. I'm like, well, that just solved that question for me right then and there.
Yeah,
All right.
that was a good hint for you. I know the lane went in when he was just looking for the one item, so I felt at that point he wasn't going to go left side at all, and there was no logical reason to, because you have to beat Argus anyway. If the item's back there, you're done. And I don't think the lane you got that hint for Swamp Palace.
No, I just remember, like right when Saltyphry said that, like a second ago, I remembered, oh right, there's a hint. I could have like conveniently just mirrored and checked that. But yeah, I think I would not have gone back for that, because there was like only one item left, so I would have cleared everything else basically, and then had that as my last location.
It worked out in your case because at that point you were looking for one item. There was no logical reason to do left side first anyway.
Yeah.
You beat Argus, you were in go mode.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like that. So anyway, one question that comes to my mind now, knowing that you are now entering the top 8, I just want to name some of the people you're going to be in this top 8 with. We have Kyong92, we have Furaimi, we have Andy, we have Korek, we have the winner of Bonta and Willard J. Bradley. Willard being up 1-0 in that set right now. We have either Niken or ACMLM. Their match hasn't started. And we have either Glenn or Jet, who will be decided on January 3rd. We'll talk about that later in a couple days. So hearing some of those names, how do you feel your chances are in the top 8?
I think everyone kind of has equal chances. Like even in this top 16, there's like no real winner or loser anymore, in my opinion, because everyone's kind of on the same level, and it, in my opinion, mostly comes down to like, sure, like someone might have a slight execution edge or something, but it's not that meaningful anymore, and like if everyone's like at a high level anyway. So but yeah, everyone that's like in top 8 already is like really good, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to be part of that. And yeah, no idea who I want to play against in the other matchup. I already played against Jet in the spring tournament, and that was like my last Swiss match, I remember, and got a little bit unlucky there, so I lost against him by quite a bunch. So maybe I can play against Glenn this time. I don't know. I don't care actually. I'm fine with either of those guys.
You might get your shot at redemption here. We're going to have to wait a couple days to find out. And again, I'll talk about that in a moment when I talk about the upcoming schedule here. But yeah, you might get your chance at redemption against Jet, or you might get Glenn. It can go either way. It's 1-1 in that set right now. So we'll find out soon who your opponent is, and you'll get to start planning for that in terms of your seed selection for your part of the selection. I want to ask one more question of saltyphry. This is obviously going to be your exit from the tournament. Top 16 is still a great result. So you'll finish somewhere from 9th to 16th in this. What are your thoughts on the tournament format as a whole? Do you like the whole format? Anything? Any other thoughts you have?
overall, I really enjoyed this format. It was quite a bit different. Like leading up to this tournament, I hadn't done a whole lot of Key Sanity, a whole lot of Retro, a whole lot of Randomizer, Swordless, all those types of things. I mainly just stuck to Open, Standard, and Inverted. So it really kind of forced me out of my comfort zone, and I really enjoyed that as well. So that was the one part I really enjoyed, just the fact that it kind of forced me to do things that I wouldn't normally necessarily do. And at least in terms of getting to the top 16, that was pretty good. A little disappointing. I would have maybe liked to get a little further. That's how far I got in the spring tournament, so I would have liked to maybe get a little further than that. But it is what it is. Either way, I had a good time. Obviously, Thalane's a great player, so I have to say GG to him, and best of luck going forward to him.
Thank you, and GG's.
And GG, and thank you for joining us, saltyphry and Thalane. That was an excellent race. I'm still on the edge of my seat. I may be able to relax in a few minutes.
Yeah, you better use the rest of that chair. It might go bad if you stay on the edge all the time. Anyway, let's go ahead and we'll talk the upcoming subject here. And thank you again for the great race to both riders. That was a fantastic race. Thank you for the entertainment on that today as well. And good luck to Lane in the top 8, going against either Jet or Glenn. And we're going to find out who that is on January 3rd, in 2 days from now, January 1st, New Year's Day, as we are broadcasting. So, by the way, we never said Happy New Year to everyone who's in the chat as well. We forgot to say that at the intro. So, with that said, Jet and Glenn are going to be fighting at 7:30 p.m. on January 3rd, 2 days from now. That will be a Ganon Standard Swordless Hard Key Sanity. And I was actually just reading in the chat a couple minutes ago. Someone was mentioning that the vetoes for that race were actually normal and expert were the vetoes, which means that we were guaranteed a hard mode seed for that race. It was just a matter of what flags were going to be set. So it's a standard swordless key sanity and hard difficulty that we're going to be getting. And look forward to that at 7:30 p.m. on Thursday, January 3rd, 2019. That will be deciding the matchup between Glenn and Jet, and that will find our opponent for the lane in the top 8. Looking at the speed gaming schedule itself as a whole, just seeing what else we have on today, there is a Wind Waker Randomizer weekly race. This is a new item on the speed gaming schedule. It's still in the Zelda sphere. Wind Waker Randomizer is going to have a weekly race now on the Speed Gaming Network. We are having, I believe it's our first, maybe the second, but I think it's our first one tonight, 8 o'clock on this very channel where we are right now. Make sure you come back and watch that in about an hour. And if you are into Zelda 2 Randomizer, that weekly race is at 9 o'clock tonight. That will be on Speed Gaming 2. We have another link to the past daily race if you prefer your Zelda on the SNES. And that is on Speed Gaming 3. It will be a standard mode daily race. That's everything that we have on the schedule for today. Looking ahead to tomorrow, we do have some Deltarune at noon tomorrow. I see we have a showcase, an Undertale showcase going on somewhere tomorrow. I don't know what's going on with that yet. Stay tuned to your schedule for that. Super Mario Odyssey Darker Side Tournament is at 1 p.m. tomorrow. And we also have the Celeste Finals. I want to mention this specifically. I believe this is the grand final for the Celeste tournament. This tournament started during the summer. It was a huge 128-person tournament. It went through a huge round robin. We got down to, I think, 64 in the brackets. We are now down to the final 2. That starts at 6 p.m. tomorrow. Do not miss that. That will be on the main channel. Probably may even get featured on the front page. I don't know yet. We'll find out later. But that is going to be on the main channel. Make sure you come back. These are the 2 best runners in the Celeste tournament, and they're going to be duking it out for your entertainment tomorrow for the championship. So make sure you're here for that. So with that said, I think this is a good point for us to wrap up. Did you have... first of all, by the way, Bungie, it's been great calling this race with you. Really had a good time calling this race with you. Do you have any final thoughts on the seed today or anything else?
Well, first I want to thank you for the opportunity, and definitely check out some of the stuff coming up with the Speed Gaming schedule. Celeste is a mind-melting bit of platforming, and I did not know that Wind Waker Randomizer existed, so I'm kind of curious to check that out myself tonight, though I haven't actually completed Wind Waker myself, but we're a little bit of this tournament left. We'll be heading into a bit of a break for GDQ, but it should be a lot of fun once we come out on the other side. The top 8 is going to be tough. There's going to be a lot of experts and a lot of tough seeds, and I believe once we get in the top 8, we'll be heading into the best of 5 4. I think actually, the semifinals is when the best of 5 format kicks into these races. So a lot of tough races. Definitely keep your speedgaming.org/schedule open to take a look. I'd love to see it out there, and hopefully we'll get some more chances to hang out there. That was an amazing seed. I'm glad they were playing it and I was not. I'm thank you to the Speed Gaming. If you are not a supporter if you have not followed the Speed Gaming or Speed Gaming 2 through 6 channels, or the link to the past Randomizer or the ALTTP Randomizer and ALPT or Randomizer family of channels, give those a follow as well, because there's lots of Randomizer to be found. If there's a randomized game, if there's a game that you love, chances are it's being randomized. They seem to be growing. There seems to be more and more of them growing by the day. So just look out there. There's a lot of fun to be had. So hopefully, maybe this will be you on the screen someday.
I think there was a day or two ago, there was another game. I forget what it was, and I'd have to check back on the schedule to find it, but there was another new game, not even Zelda, being randomized and showcased the other night as well, and that was really interesting to see because I didn't even know what that game was. So you're going to find all sorts of different stuff randomized all over the place now, and you mentioned Wind Waker Randomizer being something you've never heard of. I had heard of it before. I've never actually watched it. I might come back and watch that race myself later because I've never actually watched it before. But I have heard of it on other channels. I have heard of it having a tournament at one point in the past. Maybe we'll have a tournament in the future too. Who knows? I'd love to see it because it is one of those games that is fun to play and I look forward to. Now, if you're watching on our YouTube channel, by the way, all these other events that we're talking about, they won't be coming up next in this playlist. You're going to see another race in this tournament in the playlist. It may be the Land versus Jet final that I mentioned, the third game. Or because Mikan and ACMLM, their match hasn't started yet, they could have a match scheduled tomorrow. We don't know yet because we don't know if they're going to schedule their matches yet or not. So keep an eye out for those races as well. Those could show up on the schedule in the next couple of days. Check your local listings or the schedule link, speedgaming.org/ALTTPR or speedgaming.org/schedule, and you can find more information on those races and others when they come up in this tournament and other events. Let's go ahead and wrap it up here. I want to thank again our runners, thank our tracker Mind of Me, and thanks to you, Bungie, for co-commentating with me.
Thank you very much. If there's speed gaming is something you might be interested in, chances are there's a community and a game that's perfect for you. I'd love to see you on here someday. I definitely want to say good night and good rando.
And have a great night, great afternoon, great evening, whatever the case may be. And again, a happy New Year to everyone. And may all your seeds not be ped seeds. Good night.
Good night, folks.